all of you for spending your time with us today, and we hope that you have a great evening. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Immunity Hero webinar, COVID-19 Vaccination Between Facts and Fictions. We'll begin our session shortly. Please stay tuned with us. fine. Remember to always stay hydrated by drinking plenty of water, stay safe, and follow the SOPs to avoid the spreading of COVID-19. For tonight, Hanif and I will be the MC for the first session. Before we start, I would like to invite our project director, Nazra Abuzar, to recite a dua.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good evening and Al-Fatiha. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام وإليك يعود السلام فحينا ربنا بالسلام وأدخلنا الجنة دار السلام تبارك ربنا وتعالى يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, praise to be Allah, Lord of the worlds. Let your blessing and your peace be on your servant and your messenger Muhammad and on his family and his companions. Allahumma ya Allah, on this glorious event, in conjunction with the webinar of COVID-19 vaccination between fact and fiction, we uphold our hands to pray gratefully to thank on your infinite favor to us till we can live in peace and harmony to perform our tasks as your servants. O Allah, we ask for your blessing to make this occasion in a success. Allahumma ya Hayyu ya Qayyum ya Dhal Jalali wal Ikram. You are the mercy of the mercies. You are the Lord of the universe. Give us mercy from your presence and shape us right conduct in our plight. We ask you for knowledge which is beneficial and sustenance which is good and deeds which are acceptable. O Allah, help us to remember you, to thank you, and to worship you in the best manners. Forgive us, have a mercy upon us, guide us, give us health and grant us sustenance. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وصلى اللهم على نبينا محمد النبي الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Amin Amin Ya Rabbil Alamin. Thank you, Nazra, for the dua recitation. Now, before we start, let me explain to you that we are going to have uh, a lucky draw at the end of the session, so please stay tuned with us until the end. So, without further ado, let me introduce our first speaker for tonight, Dr. Khairul Hafidz. Dr. Khairul Hafidz Alkhair bin Khairul Amin graduated from University Pajajaran, Bandung, Indonesia in 2012. He is now a Doctor of Public Health Dr. PH candidate at University Putra Malaysia. He is the founder and current chairman of the Medical Tweet Malaysia, MedTweetMy, the medical social media platform registered under ROS in 2016. Without further ado, let me please welcome Dr. Khairul. Sorry for the latency, but I think that Dr. Khairul Hafidz has a technical difficulty for now. So please wait for a while. Sorry. I mean, like it took a day. The next day, the day after I got vaccinated, I got the next appointment for the second dose. Yeah. So,
Oh, so
Honey, what
great.
about you? You have your second doses? You have completely vaccinated?
Yes, I have managed to get both of my doses already. Uh, as you had Sinovac, I had AstraZeneca. I actually had signed up in the first round of AstraZeneca vaccinations. Man, it was a very interesting experience, to say the least, trying to sign up for the AstraZeneca. So, how was I managed to get the both doses, the first one in May, but because of how AstraZeneca, the whole AstraZeneca vaccination process was, my second dose was a decent ways away from my first one, which was I got my second dose 2 months after in July.
Yeah, I've heard that AstraZeneca, the ones who take AZ, has to wait for 12 weeks, right?
Yep, yep,
Oh God.
that's about right. Within 12 weeks, yes.
Wow, that's a really long duration. Me like as you know as for me I would only have to wait for 3 weeks and then I will get my second dose. So yeah. Do you have like any side effects with AstraZeneca?
Oh man, the side effects with AstraZeneca, that was an experience. My first dose I had during the middle of our semester. So my side effects were that initially after the jab, I would say during the same day, going out and coming back, I had a bit of a light fuzziness in my head, and
Mm.
then a bit of soreness in my arm. Then what I really didn't expect as much, because later in the middle of the night, I started to get shivers and chills. My temperature shot up to a point of a fever, and I could barely sleep that night, honestly, actually. The next day was really fun. I felt like my head was spinning. For anyone in the audience, for context, if you ever sat down on a chair, like an office chair, and you just spinned around a couple of times and then you try to stand up straight away, or you feel the whole world is just revolving around you slightly, that was most of my day, the day after my vaccination. That my whole arm was sore instead of just the place that was injected. My whole arm was sore, and food was a big comfort. Food was a thing that helped a lot. But then the next day, most of it subsided instantly. Like my head was not spinning anymore. Suddenly, the whole soreness in my arm was gone for the most part, and I was more or less functional again. But which is funny because I've heard with AstraZeneca, and I've seen it for myself within my own household, that different people's bodies react in a different way. For
Yeah,
me,
that's true.
yeah.
Totally.
So for
Mhm.
me, mine out of my family was the worst side effects. Uh, my brothers and my sister, they weren't too bad. It was mainly just soreness and a bit of a headache. My mom, on the other hand, she felt a bit of soreness, but she didn't have a headache. She just felt sleepy. In contrast to me, which was basically me not unironically dying the next day. My second dose side effects were a lot, a lot milder, which I'm very glad for, because I, as most of our group mates know, I had my second dose during our final exams.
Oh my gosh.
I had my first dose on the day we started our final exams. So when our paper started at 8 o'clock in the morning, I headed out of my house at 11:30 to go get my second shot.
Oh my god. Did you
For anyone who doesn't know,
did you
ETP,
manage to finish your extended assignment?
yeah, late at night.
You relatable.
For anyone who doesn't know, UTP's finals, they last a full 24 hours from 8 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock in the morning the next day. So I had time, though it was not the best experience I've had, but I pulled through.
Understandable. Yeah. Well, we have this comment here from Anonymous. They're saying that I'm waiting for my second dose of AZ. Hoo. Oh, it's okay. Inshallah, nanti you will get your second dose.
Oh, that brings up a good question. How was your experience getting vaccinated? Like, how was the process? How was it for you with Sinovac? Am I right?
Yeah. The process meaning that apa the cucuk lah kan experience.
Like, how you first arrived,
Oh.
like the registration process. How did it go for you?
My location was at a day one orang ramai for Buddhist. So yeah, it was kind of like strange, but then I just went there anyways. The process was very very smooth. There were not much people there. So it was very very smooth and it was quick too. And yeah, everyone was friendly there, and they guide me and like, oh, I have to fill in this form and then go to this place and that place. And I mean that place is not that big, but then I mean you can potentially get lost in there. So yeah, it was a great experience, and I actually would rate it like 10 out of 10. I like that place. Wait, where did you get your vaccine, Annie?
I had my vaccine at PWTC in KL, and I would say for the first dose, the experience was actually quite pleasant, though it was a lot of people. There were a lot of people who were there to get their first vaccination at the time. They were still very controlled, even for those who were arriving early. Let's say if their appointment was at 12:30, they arrived at 12. There was a lot of control of who's going where, what time can you enter, for those who were a bit late for their appointment and had to rush in straight away. Going in, we had a small waiting area before we went to our registration portion on the upper floors during the first dose. Then we had to sign the paperwork, the agreements to have the vaccination, and then the fact we had to the word escapes my mind. Basically the doctor asked us to check up on us twice. As I forget what the word is. It's okay. Then the actual shot itself, which, to my surprise, as a guy who hates needles, I don't like needles. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. So for anyone who's out there who has the same fear like me, it's fine. If you don't want to look, you don't have to look.
It's pretty quick. You just close your eyes and then you feel like, oh, already finished.
Yeah, it was. I wanted to. I'm not sure if I was able to in the first dosage at the time in May. I wanted to record myself, but everything happened so quickly that I just couldn't. I wasn't able to get my camera open in time before everything was done. By the time I left, the only piece of media that I had was the pictures at the photo booth, which was oddly enough, there was for the one photo booth that I was going to, there was a decent line of people waiting for the photo booth also. So it was a funny experience of if anyone who's gone for vaccinations, asking the person in front of you or behind you if they could take a photo of you, and then they ask for the same thing. So it was a very big buddy system.
Yeah.
In a way, it was very amusing. And then the second dose was lightning quick. Much far less people. You walk in, and because you barely have any, you don't have to sign up for. You didn't have to sign any paperwork as much as you did the first time. Sorry, you didn't have to sign as much paperwork, and the only thing they had to do was answer a few questions about your health since the first dose, and uh, give up your vaccination card that you were given the first time around. I barely sat down the entire time. I got in, did the small registration. They asked about my conditions and everything. If I had any very noticeable side effects, didn't have any. And then I already was on my way to line up to go get the jab. And after that, it was the observation period, and then I was off. I was very surprised at how quick it was. Let's say it was very much less than just about 15-20 minutes, and I was in and out. So props to all of the people working in the vaccination centers.
Yeah. Hashtag frontliners are the best. We have a question from Anonymous. It says here that any opinion on walk-in vaccination? Is it bad or good to implement? What do you guys think?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
Hmm.
In my opinion, walk-in vaccinations, I feel like with trying to quicken the herd immunity in our country, I would say it's a good thing in a way, because let's say if you have a lot of people who gotten their vaccinations already, you want to go get vaccinated also. So instead of having to sit at home and wait for an opportunity to come to you, you can take your own initiative to get a vaccination. But there's a big but in my opinion. They should be done right.
Yeah, I actually agree with that.
Yeah, I'm not going to call out any certain situations. I don't want to be that person. But proper SOPs, I mean, this is just in general. Proper SOPs should be everywhere to keep everyone safe. It's an important thing to only for yourself, but for the people around you. So yeah, I would say also it would help if a lot of people, if people who are able to speak, who are very multilingual, if you know you have the capabilities, why not try out to, I don't know,
Volunteer.
thank you. Volunteer at a PPV. I'm pretty sure you'll be a very, very big help over there.
I think walk-in vaccination is actually a very good idea because, like, we have actually bad experiences with like waiting for our dates and all that. We have so many people here in Malaysia, so like walk-in vaccination is actually a good idea. But like Hanif said, that you must have like a proper system when having the walk-in vaccination so that it does not look like it is not like too crowded. Like what I've seen on social media, they're like so crowded, it's like uncontrollable. So that is like it actually leaves a bad image, right? So I mean, it should be handled out like properly.
Yeah, it, it's a very it's a very hard thing to do, but it's for the sake of safety, you know. I feel
Yeah.
like everyone can at least agree on that, like safety for, if not for everyone, for yourself. We have a lot of comments on here about people still waiting for their first dose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know quite a few people also who are still waiting for their first dose. So again, back to that whole walking vaccination, uh, walking vaccination idea and implementation. It's an opportunity, and I would say moving from here, we can invite our project director Nazrul to come in here and speak a few words for his own.
Hi, Hanif. Thank you for the word. Thank you for the word. So I'm very sorry on behalf of our organizing committees because we have some technical difficulties from our side. So it might take some moment for us to get to our speaker. So in the meantime, I just want to share a bit about our project, which is this webinar. So actually, the main objective of our webinar is to educate ourselves and to equip ourselves with knowledge about the vaccination itself, on how can we combat the myth about the vaccination as we see on social media that goes around. For example, like yang kita tengok before, yang the spreading of how the bunga cengkeh can cure the COVID-19, and some ridiculous theories about COVID-19 lah. So in conjunction to this event, this is why actually we organize this event as to educate and equip ourselves with the knowledge lah, to about COVID-19 vaccination, the truth about the COVID-19 vaccination between fact and fiction. Because we as the young generations, we as the youth are very crucial to educate the community, the truth, to spread around the truth, spreading the awareness. So yeah, that's a bit about our project, which is also in UTP. I mean, like in other universities as well, it falls under the Mata Pelajaran Umum MPU 4. So where we wanted to deliver to our community, where our targeted is to the youth, to the younger generation, to the students, to the adults, so that we learn something about COVID-19. We learn something on how to spread awareness on COVID-19, on how to educate people about the truth about the COVID-19 vaccine. It's not about microchip. It's not about 5G and some ridiculous theories that we've seen on Twitter, Facebooks, and the other social medias. So I really hope that when later, if our speakers are here, I really hope you guys can ask some questions on how can we combat the misinformation, the myth, and so on. So for example lah, I give you an example. Contohnya macam dalam WhatsApp group, right, we receive some myth ataupun some ridiculous theories about the COVID-19 vaccine. So maybe we can forward back it, or maybe we can forward it back to the other group, like how the truth about the COVID-19 vaccine, so that we use the WhatsApp platform as the medium to spread the awareness. So when people or the older people reads it, and it can share it to their group, to the other group. So it's on how our responsibility to spread the awareness. Yeah, I think that's for me lah, Hanif.
Thank you, Nazrul, for briefly explaining about our project here. And again, on the behalf of our team and committee, we do apologize again for having very, very unexpected technical difficulties that have been up until now. And we do appreciate every single one of the viewers, patients, those who are joined us on MS Teams, and all of you who have joined us live on YouTube. So in the meantime, while we're still trying to deal with our problem, Nazrul, as our project director, how has it been trying to orchestrate this project of ours up until now, from beginning to end? How has it been for you?
I would say it's a bit tough. It's a bit challenging to organize such an event because we need to have someone that have some influence in the medical areas. We need to get someone that really expertise in their areas in terms of this COVID-19 vaccine and stuff, so that when you have a good speakers, right, when we have someone that really well known in their area, like have some numbers of followers in their Instagram, so it will help our webinar to reach more people. Yeah. So for example, if in the future I were to have to organize some event about the COVID-19 vaccine again, so maybe my target audience would be mostly elder people. So maybe I would like to invite someone that in the somewhat expertise in medical area or COVID-19 related things. Maybe someone who has a big names, a public figure, so that when this figure talks, that so that people can listen. Yeah. Yeah.
So it goes back to your main objective of wanting to educate as many people as you can and just spreading out as much true information and maybe debunking some myths and misconceptions that people might have heard from either reading it on the internet and receiving it from uh, unverified sources. Big quotation marks. Unverified sources.
Sorry
Yeah.
again. What again, Anif? I'm sorry.
So it goes back to you wanting to educate as many people as you can and being able to spread as much true information and maybe debunking some people who have had believed some myths or misconceptions that they may have read somewhere or received from unverified sources, quotation marks, unverified sources.
Yeah, I think that's where we comes in, right? Because we, as someone who have the responsibilities in our society, in our community, I believe that we should deliver our responsibility to educate our community, to spread around the truth about the COVID-19 vaccine, to spread around the WhatsApp. It's not just only on the normal platform that we use, like the Twitter or Instagram. We need to utilize as many platform as we can. So because mostly I saw that most the misinformation or the myth about the COVID-19 vaccine circulating in Facebook, in WhatsApp. So we need to utilize as many platform as we can to spread the truth about this COVID-19 vaccine. It either shared from trusted sources, like from the medical officers or from the KKM page itself. So we need to actively spread around the truth about the COVID-19 vaccine. Yeah.
All right, that's it. The biggest comment, and I would say for you, is it's very honorable. I would say your belief with wanting to spread information and get people knowledgeable about everything is a very honorable and respectable goal. So kudos and props to you, Nazrul. Would you like, as our project director, would you like to answer some of the questions that are left by our viewers inside the Q&A to fill in the time? Nazrul?
Yeah, sure. Can you read the question, please?
All right. First question from Anonymous. Oh, no, from... All right, here's a question from AJ. what is the biggest myth about COVID-19 vaccinations that you have heard?
I think I think the biggest myth about COVID-19 vaccination is the one that are famous right now, which is about the 5G and the microchip thingy, where the yeah, yeah. So it's I'm not sure why some people believe that, because it sounds kind of ridiculous, right? So, but in the end, it depends on people. Other people have their own belief, right? So, but then we need to educate them rightly, lah. We need to correct them. We need to spread around the truth about it, because it might scare some older people, or the older citizen, so that they when they hear the misinformation about it, then they don't wanna take the vaccine, and it might cause them trouble. It might cause them some bad diseases, especially like I mentioned just now, the older citizens. Yeah, so it is very important for us to educate our community about the truth about the COVID-19 vaccine, because yeah, we need to help our community. We need to help our nation to achieve the herd immunity faster. Yeah.
Yeah, that is very true. I agree with that. I'll stand behind what you say. I would say so far for me, my favorite myth about vaccinations is how I think this recently came up in popularity on the internet, which was that for people who have received their vaccinations and once the 5G towers have gone up, they'll turn us into zombies. That
Yeah.
was a very, very interesting story to read. If anyone would like pleasure reading to put a smile on your face, it's an amusing one that you can read. Okay, another question from Ida. How would you persuade family members into getting a vaccination?
Yeah.
So, yeah, this I'm assuming comes from a place where maybe you have a family member who is a bit stubborn to get a vaccination. How would you try and convince them?
um my approach would be, I mean, it depends on what kind of I mean, like the concerns of why they don't want to take the vaccine. But um my approach would be, if let's say that person, I mean, like the family members is getting influenced by something they admire to. For example, contoh like our grandparents ke, they are influenced by macam I don't know, someone yang penceramah, or someone that give talk about religious things. So I believe we can show them from the perspective of a religious on about the vaccination. And if that family members is influenced by something, I don't know, maybe someone from the public figures, someone from the actor or actress, celebrities, maybe we can try approach them by sharing the information, by sharing the awareness that are given by that certain people, certain group. So I think it depends on the influence lah, basically. Sebab we can see that our society is easily influenced. I mean, like the older citizens is easily influenced by their friends, by their relatives, and by their, I don't know, penceramah or something. Yeah.
Would you say that in a similar situation or with programs like these that we had planned and trying our best to go through, where talks and webinars and maybe some brief videos of explanations about how vaccinations work, do you think that with content like this, it would help with trying to convince family members into taking vaccinations, Nazrul?
I'm sorry, I don't get it.
Do you think with content like webinars like this one, or talks and maybe short videos of people explaining what vaccinations are and how they work, do you think that with having that content, do you think it would help in trying to convince family members?
Yeah, but like I mentioned earlier about why we are organizing this webinar is to educate ourselves as the younger generation, as the youth, as the adults, to equip ourselves with such knowledge. So maybe later we can ask the speaker on how to combat the COVID-19 myth, on how to spread the truth around the platform of social media. So in this webinar, I really hope that we, as a young generation, can learn on how can we spread the awareness on how can we combat the myth about the COVID-19 vaccine. And yeah, I believe some of contents that spreading awareness can be used to certain people like I mentioned earlier, if that kind of person is a very strong religious, so that we can use the content someone from religious background macam ustaz or ustazah that are talking about the truth or talking about the good about the COVID-19 vaccine. So yeah, it really we can utilize the platform, we can share the contents about the COVID-19 vaccine.
All right. How about maybe a few more questions, just to fill in the time? Another question from another anonymous. Have any of us, or this is a question for all of us, have any of us had to correct someone personally close to us regarding vaccination misinformation? Ooh.
All right, let me answer that. I have some experience, someone from my contacts or someone from my friends, from my circle that is against the vaccine, COVID-19 vaccination. So my approach is that I actively sharing the truth about the COVID-19 vaccine in my WhatsApp status, in my Instagram stories. So, but I think it's kind of a psychological approach lah. I think so, because we keep sharing that thing so that we are sure that that person or someone that close to us will see that sharing lah from us. Sebab I'm not myself lah personally, I'm not really prefer to approach personally, because it is something that people's choices in the end. So I think by using like psychological approach, it is much more effective and much more convenient on how can we educate someone. So just utilize your social media by spreading good things.
Yeah. I would say for me, I have had I wouldn't say the closest experience, but I've had a few people that I knew that weren't super close to me that had a bit of misinformation about how vaccinations and what tier they could be. It was him wanting to, oh, I said him. Oh, this is a guy now. He wanted to be very particular about which vaccination he had, but it was a bit of it was me trying to convince him that any protection is better than no protection. Whatever vaccination you have, it's the least that you could do to protect yourself from what's out there. And I feel like that's the least that you could do for yourself and for everyone around. And going from there, I would like to thank Nazrul for speaking a few words, and I would like to thank you, Elvina, also, who is here to help moderate the session along with me. And a big thanks to all of our viewers on our Microsoft Teams webinar and those who are watching on YouTube, thank you for sticking around as much as you have and being patient with the technical difficulties. Sadly, because of technical difficulties, it seems that Dr. Khairul might not be able to join us tonight. We will announce if he will be able to join us at a future time. So from here, I will be passing it on to our MCs for our next session, Aisha and Sophie. For our next speaker, Dr. Amanda Elli. So, Aisha, Sophie, do take the floor.
Hello, I hope everyone is doing fine. I'm sorry for the technical issues just now. We will skip to the second session now. Sophie and I will be your MC for now, and we will be having an amazing speaker for this session. I'm pretty sure everyone know who she is. Without further ado, let me introduce you to Dr. Amanda Elli. Before we start, let me read a brief intro about Dr. Amanda. Dr. Amanda binti Elli graduated from National University of Ireland, Galway in 2017. She is now a medical officer with KKM and currently working at one of the COVID assessment center in Titiwangsa. Her positivity radiates a lot throughout her work, inspiring lots of people both online and offline. Personally, I really adore her, and it is an honor to be her moderator for her session. To me, she is truly a living proof of beauty with brains. Now, please welcome Dr. Amanda Elli.
Hello. Hello. Everybody.
Hello, Doctor.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. We're here? Yeah, we're here? Okay. Everybody can hear me? I want this to be a super interactive session. You guys do not have to have any limitations. You can just pop up questions as we go through. Basically, what I'll do is that I'll try to, go through one by one. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Boleh dengar?
Yes, we can hear.
Okay, good. Okay, so we're here. Yeah, we're here. Okay, so basically we're gonna go slowly, one by one, with regards to managing stress. Okay, so how do I remove the back voice? Because I can actually hear my voice speaking to myself. Go through one by one. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Boleh dengar?
Yes, we can hear.
Okay, good. Okay, so we're here. Yeah, we're here. Okay, so basically we're gonna go slowly, one by one, with regards to managing stress.
Doctor, I think it is only your mic that is turning on right now.
Actually, what my voice I'll try to go through one by one. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, I can still hear the background noise though. Where should I mute that? Minta doktor mute kejap.
Doctor, are you listening to the speakers lobby just now? Have you left that meeting? Oh, we can't hear you, Doctor. You are muted.
Sorry, Doctor, you're muted.
Doctor is muted.
This one.
Still muted, doctor.
Your mic is muted. Okay, we can hear you now. Wait. It's muted now.
Oh,
Now, can you hear me?
Okay, we can hear you.
Okay, guys. So that is the first scenario of how we manage our stress. Okay. So yes. Without further ado, my name is Dr. Amanda Elli. I work in the COVID Assessment Center, which basically means that I have to deal with COVID patients 24/7. Okay. When I say deal, I mean I have to manage them. Okay, doctor mesti select which patients must go into hospital setting and which patients are safe to be at home. So that is what I do on the daily. And even though I have a normal working time, as they say, my work doesn't really stop. The last phone call I got, emergency phone call, a 7-month-old baby, COVID baby, just settled all of that. Literally 15 minutes before I started this webinar. So that is how challenging things can be, not just on the physical side, but obviously on the emotional side. You know, my mind gets drained out and everything else. Okay, but tonight, this platform is for you guys. The only reason I want to do it is because I want to open up your minds when it comes to stress management. You guys are students. You guys are basically future leaders of the world. Okay, you decide what kind of people you want to be. You decide what kind of person you want to follow and what you want to advocate in the future. Okay, so we'll kick off with our first maybe subtopic. I actually went through a few points with Aisha. So Siti Aisha, she actually mentioned that one of the most annoying things about stress management during lockdown for students, number one, would be online learning. Correct me if I'm wrong, online learning memang boring. Doctor memang, the fact that you have to stay in front of the computer is, oh my goodness, it's sometimes really, really annoying. And there's, you don't actually have a barrier or somebody sort of governing you or watching you, so you really have to put your 100% focus and mind onto whatever you're trying to learn. And it's challenging, okay? Because you have to stare at the screen for very long hours. But still, online learning, we cannot really escape it. There's no escape route. We somehow have to adhere and we somehow have to embrace it. Okay? So with regards to online learning, I think the number one problem with us is that we are learning all the time. You understand? Oh, you guys are all so quiet, huh? You have to talk to me also, if not I'm talking to a screen. Okay, we are learning all the time. We are looking at our phones 24/7. We are looking at our gadgets 24/7. Now, what I'm trying to say is, okay, your online learning, your classes start maybe around 8 or 8:30 or 9:30 a.m. But you start opening your phones, opening your gadgets the moment you wake up from sleep. Yeah? So meaning to say that from 7 a.m. or from 6:50 a.m., whichever time you want, the moment that you wake up, first thing is your phone alarm. The next thing you will be doing is what? Straight away checking your WhatsApp messages or your social media or whatever, or just looking through notifications. So that, in essence, is already part of the journey. You understand what I'm trying to say? Meaning to say that we focus a lot of energy when we are supposed to divert it to online learning, but unfortunately, because everything else is on the gadget, you see. So when we are supposed to actually pay attention, we don't pay attention, okay? And it's well, you might think, oh, you know what, doctor, it's not that I'm learning when I look at my phone, it's not that I'm just browsing the news. Yes, you are browsing the news, but still, adik-adik semua, thought process still occurs. You understand? When you open your gadgets, okay, when you open your Twitter accounts, for instance, most of us nowadays, for the sake of time, we go to Twitter for news, right? For information, and with that being said, we put ourselves in a condition whereby we have to digest, all of this information, all of this news, all of the data, all of the numbers. So in a way, these are all thought processes that actually fills up our mind. So the attention span that we are supposed to give during online learning is being taken away. Okay, it's being slowly eroded. So basically it's that. Why? Everything is on gadget. So how do we overcome that? Obviously, we have to limit our screen time. So first thing that maybe you can do, maybe you and I can do, is do ourselves a favor and get ourselves a small alarm. Okay? Try not to use our phones as alarms. Instead, use alarm lah, kan? Bunyi alarm clock tu yang kering tu. You pakai yang tu. Okay? At least the first thing in the morning, the only sense that you use is your sense of hearing. You hear the alarm, okay, like chicken lah, chicken say kok kok kok. So same like the watch. The only sense that you're using is your hearing, and you're not using your sense of sight, right? So when you use less senses in the morning, you can use your sense of sight to pay attention later when you're supposed to pay attention. Ni tak ada pagi-pagi buka phone, terus buka semua notification and then tengok siapa follow siapa. Okay? Ataupun siapa dah couple dengan siapa. All of those things will take away our attention when it comes to online learning. So that's number one, is to slowly limit our screen time. Number two, I think a lot of us maybe forget ataupun neglect sikit kan when it comes to eye health. Okay, bila kita nak belajar secara maya, kita nak belajar secara online, we are actually looking in the computers very long time. Kan, when you try to focus on your lecturer's topics, or when you're doing online modules, you're going through the modules, you stare at the computer for long hours and you forget to refresh. And the problem with online learning is that these gadgets, not just your phone but your laptops, whatever, your iPads, they use short wavelengths. You understand? So these very short wavelengths can actually disrupt your melatonin cycle, or melatonin is basically your sleep cycle, your sleep awake cycle. So that can be a potential issue as well, you see? So that's the thing. Not only, sometimes we try to focus a lot on online learning, but then if our sleep is somehow disrupted when we don't really control our screen time, then it becomes a problem. Why? Because it is obviously a chain reaction, which is why, this might sound lame, but if you can, okay, you go to the supermarket and get your shopping done. Doktor suggestkan adik-adik semua cari buah-buahan ataupun fruits, vegetables yang coloured. Okay, so these coloured vegetables and fruits like macam contohnya tomatoes, right? Carrots, these are all very rich in this thing called beta carotene. Very good for your eyes. Okay, so apa lagi buah-buahan yang banyak colour? Yang doktor tanya ni, apa nama? Sophie Hazira. Give me an example of a Malaysian fruit that has a lot of colour. Sophie?
Hi, Doctor.
Hello. Buah apa?
Buah apa? Malaysian fruit.
Yang banyak colour. Colour orange, colour merah. Apa?
Malaysian fruit. Strawberry?
Hey.
Ada kat kamera.
Ayo.
Is cempedak. Okay. Oh, mangoes.
Okay, yeah, good girl. Yeah, very good. Okay. So Hazira mentioned cempedak. Well, you can go for other options as well. You've got your watermelon kan, tembikai kan. You've got your betik. Betik is papaya in English. Or whatever, your nanas. So these are all fruits that has loads of colours. And vegetables, for instance, like I mentioned, the carrots and also bayam. Okay, you remember those spinach? There's the pink spinach and the very green leafy spinach. Those are very good for your eye health. You do not want to strain your eyes for too long. So once in a while, if possible, after you've done your module kan, for like half an hour ke 15 minutes ke, you can actually stop, take a break, close your eyes for a while, yeah, then you continue. You can actually do that lah. And then obviously, if you have dry eyes as a problem, then you can always use eye drops. Okay, so that is my concern when it comes to online learning. Number one, to reduce our gadget time. Okay, and then number two is our eye health. Okay, next would be on assignment deadlines. Okay, this is a tough one actually. Sometimes, our lecturers, our teachers, when they give deadlines, they just give it, yeah, and they expect us to come up with the solution or come up with the assignment on time. And sometimes it's reflecting, okay. But don't be scared or whatever. Try to be positive about it. Why? It's because assignments, they don't come every week or every day, right? Usually they give you one huge assignment, kan? But they expect you to do it maybe over 1 month or so. Okay, so with that being said, how are we going to achieve this? Is we can actually differentiate, or we can bahagi-bahagikan. You can actually divide the assignment. So for instance, you have to write an evidence-based essay. Contohnya, ataupun like a slide, like a presentation slide, for example. And you're supposed to do it in a month's time. Okay, what you can do is you pecah-pecahkan lah, kan? So if your essay is maybe 2,000 essay or maybe 1,000 word essay, evidence-based essay, you can always divide it into 200 words. Betul tak? And then if one day you can do 200 words, or maybe one day you can do 100 words, then in 5 to 10 days you'll be finished, kan? You don't have to do the assignment, in like one go. Then in that way you will lose so much energy, you will drain yourself so much, and then the next day you dah tak ada mood dah, you just give up. So we do not want that. So instead, what we can do is we can divide. Okay, kita pecah-pecahkan. And another thing that doctor personally like to do is that I like to make checklists. Okay, so my notebook is somewhere here. So when I make checklists, it's pretty much easier. So if contohnya lah, I've got 20 things I want to do. 20 things, that sounds a lot, right? So instead of listing all 20 things, 20 checklists to do in one day, that's crazy and impossible, and you will never make it. Duh, obviously. So you just tulis macam ni on a notebook. Tulis 1, 2, 3, 4. This is what I do lah. Okay? And bila dah buat, and then I just tick. Tapi I tick tau. I ambil pen, doktor ambil pen. Okay, this is a brush. But I tick one by one by one. And in one day, doktor letak lah maybe 3 to 5. Kan? Then the next day, another 3 achievements. And I tick. And I feel so good about it. You should try it too. But try doing it in a tangible way. I know most people like to do it in their phones, right? You've got your e-planners, blah, blah, blah. But really, if you write it down, things will get even more sorted, and you will get that satisfaction when you get things done. Okay? So that would be about assignment. I'm actually trying to make sure that we cover all of the topics that Aisha mentioned. Okay? So that's your assignment. And then the third thing that Aisha mentioned was about motivation. Oh, this is a tricky one. So, some of us, we can be quite demotivated. I mean, come on, I understand why, the next thing you wake up, we have a new government, right? And then the next thing is the closing things, and then the next thing, buka semua benda. So it's very, very volatile, yeah? And most of these things, they are out of our control. And sometimes we just feel like, why are we doing this in the first place? What's the point of getting all of this done? What's the point of me waking up early in the morning? For what? There's nothing to look forward to. It's not that I can put on my makeup and see people outside, or for boys, I say it's not that I can go out and, have a drink somewhere. So, totally understand. But still, okay, in order for us to get motivation for ourselves, we really need to know our purpose. Okay, so purpose is a huge word, okay. We might be sad at times. I don't know if you guys have experienced, sad things during COVID-19. But if it's not you, then maybe it's somebody else, or maybe somebody that you know on the internet. Yeah. And you look at these things and you see, my goodness, who would have thought somebody that young, a mother, but died due to COVID-19. And how am I supposed to be positive about that? And if I'm the person's family members, how am I supposed to be positive about that? And how am I supposed to stay motivated, kan, to go on in my life? But honey, this is where you find your purpose. Finding purpose means to know what exactly, why you're doing this. Kenapa you study bidang ni? Why? Kan? Do you like it? And if you don't like it, what can you get from it? Contohnya macam ni lah. If adik-adik semua ingat kan, dulu waktu kecil-kecil kita belajar pelajaran sejarah, history, right? I always ask myself, why do I have to memorize all of this? For what? I can't bring back the dead, kan? We always have to look into the future, So what's the point? But then, as I grow up, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, at times, when I talk to people, I actually do, I do talk about a bit of history, And sometimes when people say, oh, remember about this story, and then you'll be like, oh yeah, I read it dulu, time I studied. You see, the fact that you can actually quote that, the information, the knowledge that you attain as a student that you thought was mundane, and now you're using it as a form of communication, is actually you attaining soft skills. You understand? So every part, all of these things, kan, dia selalu cakap kan, if you make mistakes, it's not that you lose, you're actually learning. Betul lah, kan? It's not that you lose 100%, you can actually learn and you can do better the next time. So same, whatever happens around you, be it good or bad, always have a purpose. It will always teach you in one way or another. And that is how you stay motivated, okay, in your studies, which is very, very, oh my goodness, so important, especially during this pandemic era whereby everything is so competitive. Betul tak? Even during when I was your age pun, it was already competitive. So sekarang lagi lah. Okay, so yes, we have to keep our motivations up. Next, fourth topic would be on environment. Okay, so I suppose having unsuitable environment can be quite a challenge, kan? How are you supposed to study? How are you supposed to do your online classes? If baru nak buka laptop, mak dah menjerit, woi, kau dah angkat baju belum? Dah masak belum? Kan? Kiranya lah kan. So the environment is not suitable. Betul tak? So how do we create that suitable environment? Kan? Takkan you, if let's say contohnya lah, Aisyah Ariana, okay, kan? Okay, cute girl. Contohnya if let's say you go into the toilet, would you study in the toilet?
No.
No, right? What would you do in the toilet?
I would do my business lah.
Okay, so do your business exactly. You brush your teeth. Betul tak? Because Ariana and all of us, we know that bila masuk toilet, kita buat settlekan kita punya kerja lah. Kan? Mandi, clean ourselves. Betul tak? We don't go into toilet and we study. Betul ya? Okay. Now, use the same concept to create the suitable environment for your studies. Now, this is very important. Okay, you tak payah bilik mahal-mahal, all the technology equipments, all these people got Google Home lah, screw them. Okay, all your space doesn't have to be big pun. Your space. When I say space, you don't even have to have a table and a chair. Some people suka duduk, people kadang-kadang suka bersila je atas lantai. Enough. You ada tempat you cukup nak sila, ada bantal you kat belakang, you have your coffee or your tea, you have loads of water, 2 to 3 liters standby, kan? You lock your door, have a bit of lighting, and then some music. Dah lah, tu je lah. And then you punya you off lah, kan? Betul tak? Ni kalau you jenis yang suka buat nota macam doktor, I love to do notes. Betul tak pernah baca pun, but that's how I study lah, you know. Kan, itu je. You must create your own environment untuk study. If you tak create, dia tak datang tau mood tu. Kan, if let's say your katil, right, your bed, right, dekat katil lah you tidur. Kan, dekat katil jugalah you tengok Netflix. Dekat katil jugalah you makan you punya takeaway pizza. How lah to study at the katil? Kan, you mandi macam mana, pakai baju macam nak pergi college pun, but when you're on the katil you sleep is like that. So you have to create your environment, okay? And then again, when you want to create your environment, doktor faham sometimes our homes are smaller, ada adik-adik kecil kan. So bagi tahulah kakak nak study ni, nak buat assignment. Kan, boleh tak nanti, tak apa, nanti abang settle kan, nanti abang kat Khairul. Kan, macam tu je lah. Okay, but you have to give yourself that space. You create that space. You create the energy from that space. And I think you get what I'm trying to say. And the next thing would be on, this one I think affects everyone kot. Doesn't really affect just students lah. Financial problems kan. Financial, need to be honest, it affects all walks of life. Especially nowadays, you know, we have this very annoying pandemic that won't really go away. But still, you know, you can actually see lights at the end of the tunnel. Most people are actually vaccinated. If you look at the rates kan, kalau adik-adik tengok Jabatan Vaksin Negara punya statistics, 75% of Malaysian citizen dah ambil dos pertama and 55% dah ambil dua-dua dos. And that's huge, man. That's like what, 14 million, berapa million left, right? Oh yo, Sophie is telling me you've got 10 minutes left. Okay, fine Sophie. But anyways, you know, that's the thing. You doktor dah lupa dah. Ni salah Sophie lah. But what was I talking about? Oh shoot.
Financial
problems. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is everybody's affected. It's not just you and it's not just me. But the maybe the kelebihan that you would have is that you're a student. Okay. Unless you are married, then it becomes slightly more difficult lah kan, unless you're married and you're the boy or the girl kan, maybe then susah sikit lah, but still there are ways to go through that. But as a student, all you need to do now is just focus on your studies kan. And if you have your money that you save kan, you punya duit raya ataupun duit tu tolong cuci kereta parents ke, you know, all of that stuff, or any part-time jobs that you take kan. You never know kan, tantang maybe Sophie buat hijabista modeling kan. She gets 300 ringgit one shot. Oh, who knows kan, lantak lah, you know. So these are all things that you can actually do kan. And the money yang you dah dapat, again, bila you nak spend tu, adik kena tanya diri adik ni kan. Okay, hari ni kita nak shopping, okay. And bila kita nak shopping ni, apa benda yang kita perlu lah. Okay, this is so rhetoric, okay. I always buy things I want. But that's the thing. Kan, you ask yourself, okay, if I buy this perfume yang hari tu dah habis tu belum? That's how you counter check lah. It doesn't always work. Obviously, it doesn't work. But at least you try lah. And again, you know, nowadays it's better to save off juga kan. Unless you work so hard, dah simpan duit je tak pergi mana-mana. And then apa salahnya nak belanja makan McD, right? Ataupun you want to spend your parents some food or buy them nice foods. Apa salahnya? There's no wrong there. Provided you don't continuously do that lah, okay? Just make sure you buy things that you need rather than what you want lah, okay? So these are amongst the things lah, I think, when it comes to managing stress for students kan. You have your online learning and your eye health and your lack of motivation, you know, assignment deadlines. These are just very, very simple tips that I sendiri practice. And I want you to practice it as well at this young age so that you can get more. Because I started doing this when I'm nearly 30. I'm 29 already, next year I'm 30. I'm an old woman, you know, boring. So you guys yang muda-muda remaja, cantik-cantik, handsome ni kan, if you guys can actually manage your time wisely, manage your stress wisely, you can actually have a better future, a better you. who is more empowered, kan, more excited to go for things, kan, always look at the bright side rather than the negative side. Okay, because again, shit will always come in your way. That's life lah. Nothing is smooth sailing like that, kan. Before, again, macam kakak cakap tadi kan, before I entered this webinar 15 minutes ago, I was on the call with emergency specialist from hospital, okay, dealing with stuff. So that's just life, kan, but it's how we see things, kan. How positive I am when I see that. Oh, tak apalah, Amanda, at least you help somebody, kan. Marah-marah pun inside, but you help somebody. That child is going to get a bed and is going to be safe. That's most important. So that is 14 minutes left, 9:26. Jom buka Q&A. Tak mau tidur-tidur lah. Pergilah. If you want to ask me anything, you can ask me now on whichever topic you want. I prefer that you speak up lah. Okay? Jangan pas dekat Sophie, dekat ni je. Kan? Ni Aisyah je. You can just speak up.
Hi, Doctor. Thank you for your wonderful sharing. Sadly, the audience can't open their mic, so I'll read out the questions on behalf of them.
Okay.
Right. So we have from Azrik here. What's the best way to deal with people who are over anxious about the COVID-19?
Okay. Well, you haven't met my mom. Anyways, yeah. There are a lot of you can say over anxious people about COVID-19, but what you can tell them is, okay, for as long, guna ayat yang kakak cakap ni, for as long as we are vaccinated, 2 dose, okay, and we comply to our SOPs, insyaAllah shouldn't be a problem. Understand? Comply to SOPs meaning when you go out, you take care of your distance. The problem is, I know this is very redundant, but when we go out, we help our mother nak beli ayam ke apa dekat pasar raya, sambil-sambil you nak pilih ayam, pilih sayur, you forget the distancing, right? So that becomes a problem, even though you wear your mask and your facial, etc. So, yeah, that is how you rationalize things. Because you can't be over anxious about a certain thing. It actually does more harm than good pun. Okay, that's the only thing that you have to say to them. Okay, next question.
Next question. There's none yet, but I have from my own side. Do you think that there is a way to help those that is afraid to tell their problems to others? Like they like to melt down or burn out alone.
Okay. So the question would be, how are we going to help these kind of people, is it?
Yes, they don't want to seek help. They feel like it's comfortable to handle it alone.
Oh, okay. So this can actually go both ways lah. Kan, you can go both ways. Sometimes we can be the busybody also, but sometimes, most of the times actually, certain people, they choose to, like you said, Sophie, they want to keep it to themselves. To be honest, there's no problem pun. Okay, God has given us different characters. Some choose to be introverts, some choose to be extroverts, and these are beautiful people in their own ways. Cuma, for as long as they do not have the red flags. So, what are the things that they choose to keep to themselves? If you detect things yang dangerous, contohnya macam suicide, suicidal ideas, kan? Ataupun you look at behaviours, contohnya macam tak nak makan at all, don't want to eat at all, never sleep, kan? And then always very sad and moody and keep quiet, no interest at all. And if let's say Sophie memang daripada lahir pun dia memang jenis perangai macam tu, then tak apalah. But what I'm trying to say is, if you can detect a change from baseline, kan, daripada somebody so energetic and suddenly then if you detect that, then memang patut kita sendirilah as the people around them to help talk to them and say, you know what, I think kan, jom kita pergi makan ice cream kau ni, and then you introduce diorang kan with help. what kind of help. So these are the things that you can actually do anonymously lah. You don't always have to go to the klinik kesihatan or the GP kan. There are a lot of helplines macam those talian merpati, talian kasih. These are things that you can actually click dekat Google tu and everything is for free. It's all under KKM. All you need to do is just go under my portal health. If your friend macam malas nak ni, you sendirilah yang tunjukkan, just forward the link lah. You know what, I think this link will be good for you. Then you click and then kalau dia click dia jawab, then at least you've done something, doesn't really macam not everything means doctor. Tu tak? Okay. Next.
Alright, next question. How serious is anxiety or anxiety attack? Is the level of serious enough with me dealing it myself or needed medical attention?
Good question. So, anxiety is actually good. Okay, anxiety is part and parcel of our feelings. Anxiety actually drives us to move forward. Kalau lah, let's say, I am the type yang tak anxious at all, okay, then I'll probably be late. So tak? I'll probably be here like half an hour late and don't even know what to talk about and just have my coffee first and then maybe say, oh yeah, maybe I'll do it a bit later. So anxiety actually gives you a little bit of discipline. It gives you a little bit of push so that you macam, okay, shoot, I've got this and I've got to do it within this time, okay, so that things go flow. But bila anxiety tu too much tu when, again, it disrupts your quality of life. Apa quality of life tu? Senang je. Bila anxiety tu sampai you tak makan, balik kepada your natural things. Apa yang kita naturally buat as human beings? We eat, we sleep, right? We interact, kan? We socialize. So, if let's say kita punya anxiety nak pergi ambil vaksin tu terlalu tinggi sampai tak nak makan, tak nak mandi, tak nak minum, kan? And we continue being in that state for 2 weeks straight, then tak bagus. Then mungkin kena pergi ke klinik kesihatan and then from there maybe there are certain services that the clinic can offer. And remember, adik-adik, when it comes to mental health, it's not always about medications or shoving pills into you or your friend's mouth. It doesn't work that way. There's so many other aspects that we have to explore. It's a long path. Okay.
True. Thank you, Doctor. So for next question. Is telling people our problem means you are weak?
No.
No. I think it's the same as the first question just now. Almost the same. So moving on to the next question. How can we overcome quarantine fatigue? Because we still doesn't know when this will end and we are getting overwhelmed.
Yes. Okay. Honey, I go out every day. Well, dealing with COVID lah. But I also get quarantine fatigue, And it's not just you. It's I bet Hanif and Hazrin pun ada quarantine fatigue, right? And also Dania, Fariza pun ada quarantine fatigue. But exactly. Oh, boleh pula. Kata muted. But my point is, you have seen kan the light at the end of the tunnel. It's not going to be forever. In fact, they actually just, I'm sure you all know lah. And dia baru je announce you can actually dine in kan yesterday. You can actually go out. So yes, unfortunately tuan-tuan di atas sana took so long to get the vaccination rolling. Could have done way earlier kan and avoided this mess, tapi ni so very long. Tapi tak apa, as I've said, balik-balik kepada data and statistics, again adik-adik jangan lupa 75% rakyat Malaysia pun dah di vaksin first dose. So by right, we are slowly moving towards immunity berkelompok, betul tak? Kita perlukan at least 75 ke 80% penduduk Malaysia mendapat vaksin. And bila kita dah achieve benda tu, insyaAllah kita akan dapat immunity berkelompok. Okay? Betul? Ada certain orang akan cakap, variant ni, okay, yalah, kan? Betul. It's a virus lah, kan? Memang kerja dia mutate lah, kan? Hari ni tukar variant ni, nanti tukar variant tu pula. But kita sendiri, just make sure kita vaccinate, do all of the SOPs tu, And then that's it. Slowly the borders will open. Like our DG said, when the kedai-kedai semua buka kan, it doesn't mean that it's safe. Betul lah apa dia cakap. But when we go out tu, kita practice the SOP. Okay? So with regards to quarantine fatigue ni, I think it's going to end soon. Okay?
That is very cool answer. Now, next question. Hi doctor, how to comfort a friend who always overthink? Although I do overthink sometimes, but I know how to easily stop. But for certain people, they are always anxious and that doesn't really happen yet.
Okay. Yes. I also overthink, especially before I go to sleep. Oh my goodness, so annoying, you know. Bila you nak tidur kan, dah lah you're like, oh shit man, the class esok, macam doktor lah, shit man, work tomorrow starts at 8 a.m. and like, sekarang dah pukul 12.30, you know, you baring pukul 12.30. You think that you can sleep by 12:45 and then suddenly boom bang, you check your phone, shoot, it's already 1 a.m. And then it's like, okay, tak apa, golek. Then you overthink again, then you check back your phone, shoot, it's 1:30 a.m. So, yeah, it actually happens to me too a lot. But, well, if before you tidur tu, then obviously you have to practice your sleep hygiene. So apakah step-step sleep hygiene tu? Number one, don't drink coffee like what I just did. But I have to lah, because I need to talk to you guys and stay energetic. So don't take caffeine at least 4 hours before you go to sleep. 4 to 6 hours sebenarnya. Jangan minum air banyak sangat. Bila kita nak tidur tu, then off semua you punya lampu lah. Okay? Phone terus set alarm. Kalau dah ada jam ring tu, you no need to set your alarm lah. You put your phone kat tempat lain. And then close your eyes and try to not think of stuff lah. And then you will slowly go to sleep. Provided you have to have that discipline lah. Phone memang kena tempat lain. The problem with us is that we keep on checking the phone because we want to know dah pukul berapa sekarang. And then panic some more and then, you know. So, itu ialah overthinking sebelum tidur. Itu apa yang kita boleh buat lah. It's called sleep hygiene technique. Tetapi kalau sekiranya kita overthink waktu kita nak belajar, kan? Kadang-kadang ni laptop kat depan ni, you're supposed to study your notes, right? You're supposed to do stuff on the laptop, but then you overthink. Suddenly forget, kan? My personal thing is that I write down whatever yang I fikir tu, all my worries tu, I tend to write down. And then when I write down kan, then I realise bila I baca balik, why am I overthinking about this? Tak apalah, yang ni nanti akan settle. You understand not? So, semua yang you overthink tu, adik list kan 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sampai dah berapa puluh yang adik nak overthink tu. And then you go back to, once you finish listed down all of the things you have overthinked about during the daylight, and then you go back to the first point. Okay. So, how am I going to settle this? Oh, okay, ni senang je, tak apalah, ni dengan ni boleh buat hari lain. Oh, dia dah tak suka kawan dengan I ke? So what? I pun tak suka kawan dengan dia. And then you move on to the next point. So it's basically like that. You whatever that is going vroom macam tu, mesti tulis. Bila you tulis, then baru you nampak perspektif di mana overthink tu. Itu nombor satu. Tetapi sekiranya adik-adik berada di dalam satu mindset yang your mind is empty. You're just like stone like that. I don't know what to do. Then instead of writing, adik baca. Tu dia punya trick dia. Bila adik rasa kosongnya, sedihnya, I feel so lonely, I feel so down, kan? That, adik-adik, is the time not for you to go and take a paper and then you write, then you only write your sad thoughts. No, salah tu. You need to take a book and you start reading. Ataupun you go surf online and you start reading. Kan? Reading tu doesn't really have to be like learning punya stuff ke, motivation punya stuff ke. You can read about Kylie Jenner lah for all I care. But that's how you fill up your empty space too. Okay? So next question.
Okay. Last question. Doctor, what is the best advice if some of our friends are seeking for our opinion or advice on what are they facing? The general advice will be sufficient.
You mean they want to ask us? Contohnya, give me an example.
Contoh, kawan dia cakap dia tengah burn out. Tapi kawan I cakap dekat I dia tengah burn out. But I tak tahu macam mana nak advice bagi dia, kata motivasi ke. I
Understand?
tak tahu.
Tak apa. Actually kan, kawan-kawan kita ni, bukan kawan-kawan kita je lah, actually human beings ni, we have this character atau perangai tau. We want to be heard. Dengar lagi sekali, we want to be heard. Most of the times, human beings kan, when they tell you something, it's not that they don't know what's the end goal, what's the purpose, or what to do next. They know, but they just want you to listen. They just want you to just spare a bit of your hearing attention, kan? If you can sedekah your eyes and your ears to your friend, that will be great. That will be even better. Cut short the story lagi pendek lah. Kan, sometimes your member tengah bercerita, mata on je ke, you pun tengok phone, but you're not really listening kan. And then bila kawan you dah habis cerita, sebab you tak dengar, you tengok phone, you dengar pun you tak dengar, patah balik. Oh yeah, macam tu apa dia cakap tadi? You faham tak? And then you actually drag more time. So I think with this kind of people or friends, tak apa. Yeah, our friends kan, we are practically in this shithole together. So tak apalah. We just listen to each other out. Kan, if there's no solution, then what to do lah, kan. Yang penting, find our purpose and then we move forward. Itu je. Most times people, they know what to do. It's just that they want you to listen to you. And sometimes penat lah untuk kita kan. Tapi tak apalah kan. This day dia cerita dekat you. Next day you lah pula cerita dekat dia kan. Bila you tak puas hati, kucing you kena langgar ke apa. Betul tak? So it's actually like a mutual thing lah. Okay, it's just basic human interaction, lend and ear lah. Okay, come on, more questions?
Lend and ear. Okay, thank you everyone for your question.
So we don't have any more questions, huh?
Ada, tapi masa sangat mencemburui kita.
Yes, I can actually take one more.
Alright, okay, then cool. Right, one more.
Maybe two more also can lah. 9:45 kan, got time.
Alright, 9:45 it is. Okay, one question from Amali. What can you do to help with people who grieve over the loss of their family members due to COVID?
Very good. This is what doktor cakap tadi kan. So if let's say you know that your friend has lost somebody, or even you yourself or your family members kan, they lose somebody, you cannot go to them and say, tak apa, stay positive. Can you do that? Right. Tak apa lah weh, it's okay, things will get better. Jadahnya, kan? That person has lost somebody. And most of the times, somebody that's very important to them, like parents, family, kan? So you cannot go and tell them, hey, be positive. It doesn't work that way. It's unrealistic. Betul tak? So, in these kind of situations, again, when I say lend an ear, dengar apa diorang cakap, just listen. It's not the time for us to be macam okay tak apa, ni dah mati kan, okay you pula nak jadi organizer hidup dia, okay tak apa, nanti you ni buat ni, tak payah. Just dengar je, okay? And give that person some space. Have to give them space. You cannot expect just had a death kan of their uncle ke parents ke apa 1 week ago, lepas tu you ajak dia macam tak ada apa-apa jadi. No, kena bagi space. Bila orang tu sendiri dah open up dekat kita, given the cue card, then only you go back inside. It's like that. You've got to give them space. You've got to give them time to find their purpose. Betul tak? Not just rush things over. Okay, and this does not only apply to your friends, it applies to us as well lah. Okay, and the next question.
Okay, next question. Hello doctor, how do we recharge our social battery during this pandemic, especially for students?
Okay, social battery, wow. Boy, English je, main. Well, yes, I completely understand. We are very much restricted lah, in a way. I was fortunately able to go out on dates face to face once upon a time kan. Tapi tak apalah, again, you can go out on dates. Siapa kata you tak boleh kan? Kan I told you tadi, pandemic ni will go on and on. The numbers the positives, we cannot expect them to go down. Kan? There's no way that the positives will go down. In fact, the positives will go up or continue to plateau on the graph. Kan? But what we want is for less deaths to occur. So that less hospitalizations to occur. And because I myself, doktor pun kerja dekat COVID assessment center, I'm basically dealing with cases kan from day to day. And I am a living proof. I'm telling you adik-adik semua, ya betul, cases 10,000. Tapi pesakit yang datang dekat kami dalam keadaan kritikal dah sangat kurang. Okay? Itu je lah yang I nak cakap. And I am at KL, I'm at Kuala Lumpur COVID assessment center. Basically, I'm telling you all, I'm in a high dense punya assessment center, and I can say this to you. And I have friends in emergency department, HKL kan, and they also say the same thing. Nak tak nak dah makin kurang. So tak apa, it's good kan. It's good. Keep on going. Advocate. You always know future leaders. Advocate. And this is where your social battery comes in kan. Use up your social battery tu on your Twitter, your Instagram. This is where you flex kan. Vaccination is how you flex. You understand? Kan. So the more you advocate on that, lagi ramai orang nak ambil vaksin. Lagi cepat we get this immunity kelompok ni, we can get out of it. Okay? Because the aim for us now is to try to keep ourselves safe and of course contain the severity of the case. Okay, that is the most important part. Jangan sedih-sedih dah. Okay, jangan tak happy dah. We are looking at brighter days ahead, insyaAllah.
Brighter days, insyaAllah. Right. Thank you so much, Doctor, for answering our questions. Now, that will be all for the question and answer session. We'll move on to the next session, which is the appreciation for you, Doctor. Okay. Now, as the representative of the organizing committee, I would like to express our appreciation to Dr. Amanda for spending her time to join this webinar tonight with us and share with us her insights into this most important topic that I know affects all of us here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you so much, everyone. All right. I hope everyone is still wide awake because we have prepared something fun for you guys in a bit. Now, I'll pass the floor to Alvina and Hanif. Thank you, Doctor. See you again, inshallah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Doctor can run away now, or am I supposed to? You guys are gonna stop me off?
Watch or can run away. Up to you, Doctor.
Never mind, like I actually watched last since I'm here. What? Continue.
Alright.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Amanda Elli, for such an informative session just now. And Alhamdulillah, we actually got our speaker back, Dr. Khairul Hafidz. And without further ado, I would let me introduce our speaker, Dr. Khairul Hafidz. Dr. Hafidz Alkhair bin Khairul Amin graduated from University Pajajaran, Bandung, Indonesia in 2012. He is now a Doctor of Public Health, Dr. PH candidate at University Putra, Malaysia. He is also the founder and current chairman of Medical Tweet Malaysia, MedTweetMy, the medical social media platform registered under ROS in April 2016. So, without further ado, please welcome Dr. Khairul Hafidz.
Hello.
Hello, Doctor. We can hear you clearly.
Boleh nampak my slide?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Can you see my slide?
Not
No,
yet,
we
Doctor.
can't see yet.
Okay, wait. Do you see my slide?
Still waiting.
Hai. Sekejap okey, nampak dah kat mana. Hai, this is right.
Yes.
Yes, now we can see.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. Okay. Thank you so much. First of all, thank you, Dr. Amanda, for wonderful experience sharing regarding kita punya stress during this pandemic. And I wanted to apologize to the pihak penganjur kerana saya punya ni ada problem sikit tadi. And I want to thank to the penganjur as well because they are still with me trying to solve the problems. At last, I'm boleh settle these problems. Anyway, I have a lot of things to talk about, and saya ada 30 minit sahaja. So I try my best to stick with the time. So hari ini saya punya topik adalah COVID-19 pandemic, vaccination, and also the myth. Okay, as you all know, COVID-19 kita dah start untuk continue this kita kata this situation dah hampir 2 tahun, and we have a lot of things happen during this time, and kita pun dah letih secara mentally. But anyway, maybe with this topic, maybe we can actually refresh apa benda yang kita dah tahu, and then we can gain some knowledge relating to the COVID-19 pandemic and vaccination, and also the myth. So untuk chronology of the early COVID-19 pandemic, kalau kita tengok the first case reported is in Wuhan, Hubei province, China. Masa tu they got one patient, 55 years old male in Wuhan, and actually this is not the first patient that they've got. They actually dah assume that they are actually get this kind of patient maybe 2-3 months before that. But this is first one that has been reported. And then after that, there are several patients been admitted to the Wuhan. The first one is not actually associated with the wet market, but the subsequent patients have related epic link with the Wuhan wet market. And at this point of time, when dah sampai 31st December 2019, kita tengok China reported the cluster. At that time, there is 27 cases with 7 critical patient in the ICU, and they start to do the preventive measures because they thought that this is actually started from the wet market. They closed the wet market, and then they also arrested several people that have giving some false information in the social media. Kita boleh nampak masa tu kalau masih ingat ramai orang tiba-tiba jatuh jatuh di tepi jalan, and people thought that this is because of COVID-19, because of some sort of at that time SARS and benda-benda lain also yang diorang cakap ataupun pneumonia. So sampai January 12, masa tu barulah diorang kata they have a novel coronavirus. Then they dah find the genomic sequence and they share it with the world, and China released the genetic sequence, and masa tu ada interim guideline from the WHO. The most important thing untuk kita prevent what preventive measures of the outbreak is we do not want this disease across the border. Itu yang paling penting. Sebab tu masa dibuat interim guideline, it is actually wanted to make sure that there is nobody going outside the China at that time. Tapi itu kita kata masa tu dia agak lambat because actually benda ni dah pun spread. But anyway, at that time they also did not establish is it there is any transmission human to human yet. Masa tu dia masih lagi animal to human. And pada 13 Disember kita ada first case outside Wuhan in Thailand. It been brought by 61 years old China citizen in Bangkok. And pada 30 Januari lah barulah PHEIC announced public health emergency of international concern. This is announced when we have a pandemic. Masa ni kita untuk PHIC dalam 6 kali juga lah ada call WHO call out for the PHIC. Ada Zika, ada H1N1, and ada several other things. At that time memang dekat Wuhan, dekat China ada hampir 8,000 confirmed case with dah masa tu ada 8,000 case which is 82 cases in the 18 countries. Kalau kat Malaysia juga, actually it's not so far the timeline from the China. Kita dapat the first case 25th January 2020. first detected involved Chinese citizen entered Malaysia from Singapore. It is also the Chinese citizen. On 29 January 2020, more cases detected, 3 more additional new cases. And pada Februari 4 kita dah bawa semua kita punya Malaysian citizen from Wuhan kita bawa balik. And pada 16 Februari kita end our first wave. Masa tu we have only 22 confirmed infection and 20 imported and no fatalities. At this time kita dah establish there is a human to human transmission. And we have macam kita ada kata some sort of waktu bertenang pada tu, but we got our second wave pada 27 February and we detected 3 more positive cases. We have some political turmoil at this time. Menyebabkan kita ada pertukaran pentadbiran and pentadbiran baru yang start untuk manage this pandemic. On 15 March, masa tu kita starting of Siftalin cluster, first 3 cases is with 190 cases. Then March 18, kita start our first MCO for 3 months. And now we have MCO 3.0 as you all know. But this is actually kita punya wave, kita tengok kita ada first, second and also third wave. Even though people say that we have a fourth or fifth wave, but officially kita still lagi on the third wave disebabkan oleh kenaikan daripada third wave. And the third wave, as you all know, because of the PRN Sabah. This is actually the latest COVID-19 cases. Today, luckily we are at the highest cases again. Which is Selangor paling tinggi macam biasalah, but saya macam pelik juga Kedah ni tiba-tiba macam nak melawan Kuala Lumpur, which is semalam pun dah cerita 2,000 cases. But for me the most important thing if I wanted to see this infographic is jumlah kes ICU and also jumlah yang memerlukan bantuan pernafasan and also jumlah kes kematian. This is very important because when we wanted to address regarding vaccination, at the end of it, kita mungkin akan meninggalkan the parameter of jumlah kes baharu because it is here to stay. But what we wanted to emphasize is on jumlah kes yang masuk ke ICU, intubated and also kadar kematian. Nanti I will discuss it in ke depan sikit. So this is the evidence of the third wave. People say that at that time they said that no, this is not because of PRN Sabah, but there are 2 published articles that actually have proven that the third wave is because of the PRN Sabah. The PLOS compositional biology is saying that 70% case that within Sabah is because of post-election, and 64% case daripada luar is because of people daripada Sabah balik ke negeri masing-masing. This is
connection problem, huh?
They also have kita ada 4 genera which is alpha, beta, gamma dan delta. And yang memang akan infected to human is alpha and beta. Jadi apa yang kita dapat sekarang ni adalah novel coronavirus, which is something new. Kita dah pernah ada dulu dah MERS-CoV, SARS-CoV and also now is SARS-CoV-2. So this is COVID-19 lah yang kita akan tengok. So these 2 things SARS-CoV ni kalau kita tengok dia terdiri pada 3 lah, which is lipid bilayer. Dia ada lipid bilayer, dia ada and also dia ada dia punya kapsul, and this is kalau kita tengok ada dia punya spike protein which is kita panggil corona. Kenapa kita panggil corona? Kita nampak dia punya bentuk ini adalah bentuk macam crown. So crown, jadi kita panggil dia coronavirus. This is the spike protein. This is a lipid bilayer. And also how the virus infected, macam mana virus ni infected, because of this is a respiratory virus, they attach dekat receptor which is we call it kita panggil dia sebagai ACE2 receptor. So what happen is bila this virus masuk ke dalam kita, when we inhale the virus akan masuk ke dalam kita punya trachea dan dia akan masuk kita punya lungs, and dekat situ kita ada banyak receptor of ACE. And this spike protein akan attach to the ACE receptor. So because of that, kalau kita tengok itu cara dia, dan bila dia masuk, dia start untuk enter the virus, and masa tu dia akan keluarkan dia punya genetic materials, and then this genetic material akan be translate by the ribosome, dan dia akan buat virus yang baru, and more virus will be produced, and lepas tu dia akan keluar daripada kita punya cells, and menyebabkan dia akan membiak lah, dia akan lagi banyak. So this is how it is actually happening apabila kita punya coronavirus masuk. Because of that, kalau kita tengok banyak pesakit-pesakit kita ada masalah pernafasan, because the main point of entry of this virus is dekat ACE inhibitor receptor, ACE receptor. So now kita bincang kepada basic of immunity. Kalau kita bincang basic of immunity, we need to know that dalam immunity kita, sistem immunity badan, kita ada innate ataupun general ataupun dan juga spesifik. Jadi apabila satu-satu antigen bila masuk ke dalam badan, ataupun kita kata virus ataupun bakteria yang masuk dalam badan, so we have the first lines of defense, which is the epithelium, kita punya kulit, kita punya phagocyte yang mana ada satu sel yang kerja dia akan makan all this antigen, also the dendritic cells, plasma proteins, and also natural killer cells. But this non-specific immunity actually cannot help us too long, maybe dalam masa 6 hingga 12 jam saja, and because of not specific, jadi dia kadang-kadang tak berkesan sangat pun untuk dia nak lawan. But what yang membantu kita untuk melawan all this antigen ataupun virus yang masuk ke dalam badan is actually our specific immunity. So what happen is, in our body we have system immunity which consists of naive B cells and also naive T cells. The B cells is where the cells that actually produce antibodies, and the T cells is going to the affected cells, our cells body, dan dia akan destroy the cell body kalau benda tu infected. Jadi dalam badan dia masih lagi naif. What happen is apabila datangnya antigen, masa itulah dia akan start untuk menjadi spesifik. Maksudnya dia akan start recognize the antigen, dan dia start untuk menghasilkan the B cells yang specific to the antigen. And then dia akan start untuk menghasilkan antibody and start untuk destroy the cell. This is very important. So what happen in active immunity, when we are first infected, contohlah kalau coronavirus ni masuk ataupun bakteria yang masuk, so the immune response, immune akan start responding to the infection, to the antigen. So what happen is we either can be recovered, or we have some disability, or it can result to death. And if we are actually recover and have some disability, we are actually have some natural immunity, which is this immunity akan start untuk simpan sebagai immune memory. So when we have the same disease come to infect us again, so this immune memory akan jadi active again, then dia akan start untuk menghasilkan B cells and T cells specific to the antigen, and menyebabkan sebenarnya kita tak rasa apa-apa pun, because we have the specific antibodies, the specific cells that can actually fight against this antigen. So this is very important. Sebab tu kalau kita tengok dekat sini, this is what is the best thing. What is the advantage of the vaccination? Because the vaccination actually can help us untuk menghasilkan specific immunity, so that if contoh coronavirus masuk dalam badan kita, dia akan start untuk menghasilkan antibody, dia akan start untuk melawan the infection. So kalau kita tengok untuk cara-cara kita membuat vaksin, there are several way how kita nak membuat vaksin. So the technology is improving. Semakin lama semakin bagus. Jadi cara untuk membuat vaksin juga akan menjadi lebih baik. Jadi pada mulanya kita masih lagi menggunakan traditional way how we want to produce vaccine, which is kita guna inactivated virus yang ni, tapi virus itu dilemahkan. Jadi virus itu nanti kita akan guna. Kedua adalah kita hanya guna part of the virus tersebut untuk untuk membantu kita menghasilkan antibody, immunity, which is kita pakai conventional. Contoh dia ambil just a genetic material, dia ambil the spike protein. Contoh, the spike protein here. the spike protein, jadi dia ambil spike protein, the spike protein itu yang akan membantu untuk badan menghasilkan antibody. The latest one, the latest technology just ambil the genetic material. Itu pun dia tak ambil all the genetic material, dia ambil a part of genetic material dan itu akan dimasukkan ke dalam badan dan menyebabkan kita akan menghasilkan antibody. Jadi ini adalah 4 cara bagaimana kita nak 4 cara bagaimana COVID-19 vaksin dihasilkan, which is inactivated virus, subunit, viral vector, which is this one is very popular, and also mRNA yang kita pakai. So dalam kita punya vaccination, kita ada banyak macam-macam jenis vaccination yang kita ada. Jadi this is all the vaccination so far yang telah digunakan kat setiap negara, which is sekarang ni the most used COVID-19 vaccine is Oxford AstraZeneca and diikuti dengan Pfizer and also ada Sinopharm, Moderna, Sputnik and sebagainya. So kita tengok memang AstraZeneca is very popular. And kalau kita tengok Malaysia punya vaccination strategy. Okay, kalau dulu first kalau dalam peak, kalau you all still remember, kita ada 3 saja, which is Pfizer, Sinovac and also AstraZeneca. But kita dah tambah 2 lagi, Johnson & Johnson and CanSino, tapi tidak dimasukkan dalam peak. And the latest one adalah Moderna, which is not also included in the peak. Jadi kat sini kalau kita tengok Pfizer, memang kita main Community, memang kita pakai 2 dose. This is used the latest technology which is mRNA, and ini adalah efficacy. Nanti saya akan cerita kenapa kita tak tengok sangat efficacy, and this is the prices. Macam Sinovac memang diguna inactivated virus, kita still juga guna 2 doses, and this is the price per doses. And AstraZeneca kita still pakai 2 doses, and ini dia menggunakan chimpanzee adenovirus vector. Kita pakai yang tadi the conventional way, which is kita pakai the vector tu kita guna vector yang lain, vector lebih mild dia punya infection kalau untuk respiratory punya infection, and then dia masukkan the genetic material ke dalam vector tersebut, ke dalam dia punya badan adenovirus itu, genetic material of the COVID-19 supaya dapat hasilkan dia dapat hasilkan spike protein. Nanti saya akan cerita. And also dan Johnson & Johnson and also CanSino using the same technology as AstraZeneca, which is dia pakai vector virus, and the Moderna yang terbaru adalah dia menggunakan mRNA. So far kita ada 2 mRNA, 3 vector virus punya COVID vaccine, and also 1 inactivated coronavirus, which is Sinovac. Ya, jadi kalau kita tengok kat sini, Johnson & Johnson and CanSino kedua-duanya adalah 1 dos, which is we can use it for our other strategy bagaimana kita nak memberikan vaksin kepada community. Ini kalau 1 dos senang untuk kita nak buat outreach sebab kita tak perlu pergi 2 kali. This is the thing yang kadang-kadang ramai yang bertanya kepada saya, doktor, betul tak this is the myth yang berlaku, the misinformation that have been happening in social media. Dia kata bahawa this anti-vax, I don't know why, tapi dia mempersoalkan bahawa this vaccines are actually not be tested to the animal before it been tested to the human, which is I pun sangat keliru, because untuk kita punya membuat kajian kepada animal itu adalah kajian preclinical before the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Preclinical kita buat dulu kepada animal. So mereka kata tidak ada kajian. This is the paper, the article yang saya dah bagi untuk AZ, Moderna, J&J, Pfizer, semuanya dah ada paper-paper yang telah dikeluarkan di dalam jurnal-jurnal berkenaan dengan trial on animal. Sebenarnya tak ada isu pun. And ada juga yang kata bahawa tak ada clinical trial tak habis pun lagi, phase 3, which is for me is not true. Sama juga apa yang berlaku yang been circulate in the social media. Mereka kata bahawa clinical trial paper is not actually tak habis pun dibuat, and here is all the paper, the article yang telah dikeluarkan mengatakan bahawa mereka telah pun selesai kajian clinical trial. Kita ada Moderna, AstraZeneca, Sinovac, Pfizer and also Johnson & Johnson. So this is all the paper. Boleh baca untuk kita tengok. Sebenarnya for me itu adalah satu pandangan yang tak berapa masuk akal lah. Sebab kenapa kita nak cerita pasal kajian animal sedangkan kita dah cerita pasal kajian fasa 3? Sebenarnya kita regress, kita nak ke belakang balik. Why? Sebenarnya kita dah pergi ke depan. And kenapa kita masih lagi cerita pasal fasa 3 clinical trial paper? Patutnya kita dah cerita kajian-kajian yang kita buat dalam community, dalam population. Yang mana apa kesan-kesan yang mereka dapat selepas mereka mendapat dapat all this COVID-19 punya vaccines dalam community, not in a clinical trial. Actually itu yang kita kena bincangkan, bukan lagi clinical trial paper, but all these people is confusing the public regarding this preclinical and also phase 3 clinical trial paper. So this is all the paper. My reference ada kat ni, kalau saya boleh bagi kat semua untuk tunjuk tengok. The paper is there. And also kalau kita nak cerita pasal yang tadi, pasal yang bagaimana ianya benda-benda ni buat, how this vaccine work. Contoh kalau kita tengok RNA tadi, mRNA tadi, macam mana dia buat adalah dia ambil just a part of the genetic material yang dia masukkan dalam vaksin, dan dia akan inject it into our body. So apa yang berlaku adalah this RNA akan nanti masuk ke dalam kita punya sel, and the cell akan this genetic material just translate for the spike protein yang saya tunjuk tadi. Jadi dia akan masuk ke dalam badan. Jadi bila dia masuk, ribosom akan start to translate the genetic part, the mRNA mRNA untuk menghasilkan spike protein. This spike protein akan go to the lipid bilayer of our lipid membrane, bilayer membrane of our cells, dan dia akan start to expose to the T cell and also B cells. Dan masa tu kita punya T cells B cells and T cells akan start untuk try to recognize this spike protein dan akan menghasilkan antibody. Jadi itu adalah caranya. Dan lepas kita dah start menghasilkan antibody, jadi kita akan matikan these cells, dan yang lain-lain yang lain-lain tu akan simpan sebagai immune memory. Sama juga yang bagaimana dia pakai vector virus, macam contoh AstraZeneca tadi. What happen adalah dia akan pakai adenovirus punya vector, dia punya kita kata badan itulah. Dalam tu dia masukkan genetic material of COVID-19, SARS-CoV-2. Jadi bila dia masuk diinjek ke dalam badan, jadi apabila this adenovirus attach to our cells, what happen is the genetic material akan masuk ke dalam cells, dan ribosom akan start to translate into a protein, our spike protein, and then the T cells and B cells akan start to recognize, and after they have produced recognize and produce the antibody, and they start to keep it as a immune memory. Itu akan berlaku. Sama juga macam yang Sinovac, inactivated virus. What happen is kita masukkan the inactivated virus, and our cells, our immune cells akan start untuk recognize the inactivated, and the same process happen. What they do is they can produce the immunity, and then masa tu dia akan menghasilkan immunity dan simpan sebagai immune memory. Okay, so the question is kenapa kita memerlukan banyak vaksin-vaksin memerlukan booster? Kerana apabila kita tengok, memang banyak kajian-kajian dalam vaksin adalah apabila kita start berikan vaksin kali pertama, memang dia ada primary immune response tapi low affinity. But through time dia akan start untuk berkurang. So masa itu barulah kita start giving the booster, the second dose. Bila bagi certain dose, dia akan increase exponentially because it has high affinity antibodies. So menyebabkan dia akan jadi lebih tinggi, dan kita boleh capai kita punya titer tahap selamat untuk kita dilindungi oleh vaksin tersebut. Sebab itulah kita bagi booster. Now we are not talking about the second booster. We are talking about third booster because of the VOC, virus of concern. This one kita akan bincang nanti. So the side effect of vaccine, saya tahu semua orang pun dah tahu banyak pasal side effect. Cuma saya nak emphasize is on this one study di UK, which is dia buat pada 282,000 orang, which is they use their application to self telling what is their side effect after taking a vaccine shot. So dalam sini dia pecahkan kepada dua jenis side effect, which is systemic and also local side effect. Dalam sistemik, dia akan tengok yang paling banyak dia orang cakap adalah mereka merasakan headache and also rasa penat. Itu dua. Ada juga lain lah, dia rasa menggigil, ada yang cigit, ada yang demam, ada yang sakit sendi, ada sakit otot, ada juga rasa mual-mual. Dan juga untuk yang local side effect, ini dia ada kebanyakan mereka mengatakan bahawa mereka ada rasa sakit dan juga rasa tender dekat bahagian dicucuk. Yang selain pada tu adalah yang swollen, dia punya glands Lepas tu ada yang rasa gatal-gatal, ada yang merah-merah, ada rasa macam bruising and also panas kat tempat yang dicucuk. Jadi dekat sini menunjukkan bahawa memang ini adalah the common side effect in a population study, bukan dalam clinical lagi. Ini adalah population study. Orang yang diberikan vaccination di dalam population selepas clinical trial. And what is yang penting juga apabila kita tengok dekat sini, the effect, memang efek tu mula-mula dia tak rasa sakit, and the pain is actually increasing in trend within 48 to 72 hours, and then after that reducing the pain dalam masa. Jadi kita boleh kata dia punya side effect kita boleh rasa dalam hari pertama hingga hari kelima lebih kurang lah. Jadi kalau kita punya demam tiba-tiba dah sampai seminggu atau 2 minggu, maybe there is another cause of why the individual having a fever, not because of the side effect of the vaccine. Jadi kalau kita rasa dalam 3 hingga 5 hari tu masih lagi dalam keadaan julat normal lah untuk orang yang kena side effect. And dekat sini dia tak cakap pun mengenai severe side effect, maksudnya memang tak ada. And we can actually see that severe side effect pun dah tidak dibincangkan. Banyak lebih kepada propa saja dalam social media, especially in Facebook. I don't know why. Tapi itu adalah dakyah daripada golongan for me is not irresponsible people lah untuk menakut-nakutkan orang untuk tidak mengambil vaksin. Jadi who can be vaccinated? We got a lot of questions. We are actually trying so hard to summarize who the people that can actually receive the vaccine. Ini agak lama juga, tapi contoh mereka yang ada chronic disease, kencing manis darah tinggi boleh ambil, tak ada masalah buah pinggang, orang obes, orang asma, orang yang ada SLE, psoriasis, orang yang ada resdung, ibu menyusui, ibu mengandung, bercadang untuk hamil, menggunakan pil, semua dah boleh. Untuk yang tambahan, untuk ibu mengandung memang digalakkan ambil selepas umur kandungan 12 minggu dan ke atas. Tapi memang dalam guideline, ONG pun dah cakap bahawa kalau dia nak terima dalam masa 1 hingga 11 minggu pun tidak ada masalah, selagi mana ibu mengandung tu consented and dia nak juga terima, memang boleh. Tak ada masalah pun. Cuma ONG agak berhati-hati dalam ONG ni bahagian bidan, dia agak berhati-hati sebab dia orang tak ada cukup data. Cuma secara general it is safe for pregnant mother to get this vaccine. And arahan pun tidak ada masalah. HIV, patient transplant, kekurangan enzim G6PD, ramai yang tanya ni, dan mereka yang pakai pencair darah dan dalam keadaan stabil. And yang tak boleh sebenarnya kalau dia ada alahan yang teruk dan dia memang tahu dalam bahan yang ada dalam vaksin tersebut memang bahan aktifnya memang boleh menyebabkan alahan. Jadi yang tu kita takkan bagilah. Jadi tak adalah macam orang tiba-tiba dia kata dia sakit certain disease, jadi sebab disease tu dia tak nak terima certain contoh, dia tak nak AZ, dia nak Pfizer juga sebab dia rasa Pfizer je boleh. For me, takat kita tak dengar lagi mana-mana penyakit yang menyebabkan mereka jadi jadi kita kata alah kepada benda tersebut, tapi lebih kepada alahan bahan aktif di dalam vaksin. Selalunya memang tak boleh nak tahulah. Sebab itulah bila kali pertama dia terima dos vaksin, dan masa tu dia dapat alahan teruk, dan lepas yang kalau dia nak dapat terima second dose pun dia tak boleh ambil vaksin yang sama, dia ambil vaksin yang lain lah. Jadi yang paling penting kat sini saya nak tekankan adalah penilaian pra-vaksinasi. Jadi pada mereka yang mempunyai kebimbangan, kegusaran, boleh pergi ke klinik kesihatan untuk buat penilaian pra-vaksinasi untuk doktor sana tengok secara tuntas, dan dia akan buat keputusan adakah individu tersebut boleh ambil vaksin ataupun tidak. Jadi siapa-siapa yang memang ada specific diseases, jadi dia risau dan memang dia ada appointment dengan hospital, dengan dekat klinik pakar, jadi dia boleh pergi kat klinik pakar untuk mendapatkan assessment. Jadi tak adalah dekat PPB baru nak bincang. Takut nanti memang takut doktor kat PPB pun tak berani sebab tidak ada satu assessment yang tuntas dibuat oleh individu tersebut. Jadi untuk memudahkan semua pihak, pergi dulu ke KK atau hospital untuk buat penilaian pra-vaksinasi, baru pergi ke PPB. Nanti doktor PPB akan terima lebih mudah lah sebab dah ada kita kata satu green light daripada doktor-doktor di KK atau hospital. Janganlah dekat PPB duk gaduh dengan doktor PPB sana kata, oh saya ada certain disease, nanti saya tak boleh dapat, kenapa saya tak boleh dapat certain vaksin sekian. Jadi itu akan menyukarkan kedua-dua belah pihak. Jadi ini adalah development of vaccine. Dia ada fasa 1, 2 dan 3. I think saya nak sekali lalu saja. Yang paling penting adalah dalam kita nak buat vaksin, kita the pharma company or whatever company need to go this phase. Baru kita boleh kita boleh akui benda ni ianya adalah selamat dan juga berkesan. Jadi yang penting adalah produk vaksin yang didaftarkan nanti perlulah berkualiti, berkesan dan juga selamat lah. Jadi quality, effective and also safe. Jadi bila kita kata quality bukan bermaksud bahawa Pfizer lagi bagus pada AZ, lagi berkualiti pada AZ, tak. Berkualiti ni adalah bahan dia adalah bahan yang berkualiti lah. Tidak ada kita panggil bahawa Pfizer more premium daripada Sinovac, tak ada. Semua adalah vaksin yang baik, semuanya perlu diambil. Jadi kita nak untuk pendaftaran kita selalunya pergi kepada MPRA. Jadi apa yang dibuat adalah sewaktu dia mana-mana company nak mendaftarkan supaya ianya boleh digunakan dalam negara tersebut, dia perlu mendaftar kepada agensi di dalam negara yang bertanggungjawab. So kalau kat Malaysia adalah MPRA. Jadi MPRA akan terima borang permohonan, all the evidence will be given, and after that masa itulah baru dia akan buat keputusan. Memang ada beberapa isu bahawa agak lambat daripada MPRA untuk terima, tapi we need to understand dia orang tak boleh terima sesuka hati. Jadi which is the best for me, I need to say that the best is whatever is available now. Apa saja yang ada sekarang just ambil. Lagilah pula dengan virus of concern ini. Jadi inilah sebab kenapa COVID-19 dihasilkan dengan cepat. I think I do not have a lot of time, jadi saya kena cepat. Okay, ini tak apa. Jadi kalau program imunisasi COVID-19 peak, memang kita tahu kita ada 3 fasa. Tapi sebenarnya kita dapat tambah lagi 2, which is fasa keempat adalah mereka-mereka yang bekerja dalam industri high risk patient. Dan juga yang kelima adalah mereka adolescents yang berumur 12 hingga 17 tahun. Which is there are certain issues tentang 12 hingga 17 tahun, tapi sekarang ni they have decided that there are certain people, certain adolescent yang kita boleh bagi sekarang dan ada yang kita tak boleh bagi. Dulu AstraZeneca menjadi opt-in sebab banyak tentangan yang diberikan, but now dah masuk balik ke dalam peak. This is the latest vaccine dose administered. Actually for me, I applaud their effort untuk kita mendapatkan vaksin. Yes, we are quite slow at the first half, but now we are trying to fasten kita punya vaccination, and kita sekarang ni dah dapat sampai 37% for total population and 51% untuk kita punya population dewasa, which is very good. Yang kita harapkan kita bolehlah capai untuk total population dalam 70 hingga 80%. Kalau untuk yang 51% population pun kita nampak. And we have actually dah nampak dia punya kesan, yang mana bila saya tanya kepada kawan-kawan dekat Lembah Kelang, dekat Sarawak, dekat Labuan, memang mereka kata apabila dia punya vaccination punya coverage is higher, dia memang dapat mereka yang masuk ke dalam hospital and also be intubated masuk ICU dah semakin lama semakin berkurang. So dia punya ICU pun dah semakin lega dah sekarang. Tak semacam dulu. Lembah Kelang pun sama sebenarnya. So dekat Lembah Kelang kita dah capai 76% untuk dewasa dan juga 55% untuk population. So we need to kita kena kejar lagi siapa-siapa yang belum ambil ni. Kita nak tengok dalam masa seminggu 2 ni, I hope that there will be a reduction of cases that admitted to the hospital. So ini adalah isu-isu yang pernah ada dulu, blood clotting issue dekat AstraZeneca. I think this one pun orang dah tak berapa kisah sangat dah, ataupun dia orang pun dah faham dah ini semuanya adalah satu daya-daya nak menakutkan orang saja. Betul lah, memang kita tak kata tak ada risk, memang ada risk, but the benefit outweigh the risk, and siapa dapat COVID infection lagi teruk risk dia untuk dapat blood clots. Dan kedua, memang Pfizer dulu ada masalah dengan clinical trial dia, kata masa tu ada 6 orang mati, but bila kita tengok balik kes tu, bila kita buat trial, kita RCT, apa yang kita buat, kita ada control group and intervention group. Grup yang tak menerima vaksin, satu grup yang tidak menerima vaksin. Jadi yang daripada 4 yang kematian adalah yang tidak menerima vaksin. group ini. Jadi dua lagi yang menerima vaksin, which is bila dia orang tengok memang ianya adalah disebabkan oleh natural death, bukannya disebabkan oleh vaksin. So we cannot relate, that is not the cause of the due to the vaccination. Jadi itu yang kita dah tengok. Jadi ini pun dulu dimainkan oleh beberapa pihak, tapi sekarang saya dah tengok benda ni pun dah orang tak berapa nak dengar sangat. Jadi ramai juga yang tanya, apabila kita dah dapat vaksin 2 dos, can we actually start untuk abandon our SOPs, other SOPs, pakai mask, penjarakan sosial dan sebagainya? If you ask me that, if you ask me this so far, dengan keadaan sekarang, I think it is not the time. It is premature for us to abandon our SOP. We need to use all. Kalau kita tengok Swiss respiratory pandemic defense, memang multiple strategies can actually increase our probability to be prevented the COVID-19 punya infection. Jadi setakat ni walaupun anda telah been vaccinated, still ikutlah SOP yang lain untuk buat sementara ni sampai satu masa yang kita dah tengok. So bila orang tanya saya bila kita boleh buat, when our cases nampak trend penurunan, our ICU bed and intubation pun dah nampak trend penurunan, kematian juga dah nampak trend penurunan, at that time we can consider to abandon our SOP. But for now I can understand that we are all dah penat, and kita nampak dalam kerajaan pun dah start untuk buka kepada kepada people yang dah been vaccinated fully. But for me, ambillah langkah berhati-hati walaupun telah dibenarkan. Ikutilah SOP yang lain. If not kalau tak ada apa sangatlah nak buat kat luar tu, duduklah di rumah. Itulah what can I actually advise to you all. So the achievement kita tengok dekat Israel, we can see after they are given the second dose, because Israel the first one yang buat, memang kita nampak penurunan mereka yang masuk ke dalam hospital. This is before the Delta variant lah. Ini yang nak cerita, kita nampak penurunan because of the vaccination. Sama juga kita tengok kat UK experience. Jadi pada masa 8 Disember tu kita nampak kenaikan. This is the first time dia orang start untuk bagi vaksin. Tapi lepas 8 Januari, after that kita nampak penurunan. After 4 to 6 week, ataupun kita nampak penurunan because of the vaccination. Jadi ini adalah pada bulan Jun hari tu, bila kita tengok daily cases, walaupun daily cases dia start naik due to Delta variant, kalau kita tengok kat sini, death is actually much lower. Tak sama macam kita tengok dekat yang sebelumnya pada bulan Februari. Kalau dia punya kes meningkat, kematian juga meningkat. Tapi kita tengok kat sini, kes meningkat, kematian tidak ikut seperti kes. Jadi ini menunjukkan keberhasilan vaccination, program vaksinasi di UK. Walaupun sekarang kita tengok dia start naik balik, but that one is another thing, another topic yang kita boleh bincangkan bersama lah. So this is what we lesson learned in India. Dulu India almost win pada awalnya. Memang dia kata dia ni, tapi ada dua isu kenapa dia punya kes naik sampai 450,000 sehari at that time. First, because of there are two massive big religious event dekat Ganges River. Dan the second one is state election, dan menyebabkan kes meningkat. Kalau kita tengok kat sini kes-kes yang non-election state dengan election state, memang selepas 15 Mac nampak kenaikan cases dekat election state berbanding dengan non-election state. And masa tu dia punya vaccination hanya 3.8% saja. So they are actually open kurangkan dia punya, longgarkan dia punya SOP agak premature, pramatang. Sebab itulah kita tengok kita nampak bahawa kenaikan kes. Jadi apa yang berlaku dekat sini dan juga kat Malaysia pada PRN Sabah itu adalah satu benda yang sama, iaitu apabila ada pengumpulan orang secara beramai-ramai, maka kita akan nampak the infection akan spread more faster. Because of what? Bila ada state, orang semua ramai-ramai datang, lepas tu dia orang balikkan tempat dia orang, jadi dia akan spread pada orang yang lain. Jadi pada masa ini adalah tidak, for me, adalah tidak dinasihatkan untuk membuat berkumpul beramai-ramai, apalagi tidak menjaga SOP-SOP. Buat masa sekarang lah. Ini buat masa sekarang. Tapi apabila kita dah sampai satu masa nanti, we think that it is time, nanti masa tu kita akan start untuk live with the COVID-19. Kita tak boleh selama-lamanya dekat dalam ni. Dalam keadaan macam ni. Kita faham bahawa ekonomi perlu buka. sektor sosial perlu buka, sektor pendidikan perlu buka. Tapi bila masa kita nak buka, itu adalah satu perkara yang perlu dibincangkan secara serius lah. Jadi dia ada myth COVID-19 and vaccine. Jadi bunga cengkeh, I think a lot of you all dah nampak banyak video, banyak banyak WhatsApp yang menyatakan bahawa bunga cengkeh ini mampu menyembuhkan COVID-19. Okay, what bunga cengkeh? For me, there is no problem for you all to take. I have no problem for you all to take. Selagi mana you berhati-hati dalam pengambilan. Contoh, wap dia panas, jadi jangan terlampau dekat menyebabkan kita punya salur pernafasan boleh jadi melecur. Jadi jauhkan, tengok jarak yang sesuai untuk nak hidup. And untuk bunga cengkeh, ianya tidak menyembuhkan COVID-19, tapi dalam bunga cengkeh ada bahan aktif yang kita panggil eugenol. Dan eugenol ni boleh mampu untuk mengurangkan keradangan yang ada dalam paru-paru itu saja. Jadi sebenarnya dia mengurangkan gejala. Gejala dengan penyakit ianya tak sama. Jadi macam contoh, kita ada COVID-19, itu penyakit. Gejala batuk, sakit tekak, kita sesak nafas, itu adalah gejala. Jadi yang dibantu oleh bunga cengkeh ini pun sebenarnya adalah membantu mengurangkan gejala. Dia tidak membunuh COVID-19 punya virus. Jadi itu yang kita nak bagi faham. Jadi nak pakailah saya. Selagi mana ianya tidak memudaratkan, saya tidak ada masalah untuk orang pakai. Jadi ada satu dikata clorox can kill the COVID-19 virus. This is one video yang saya nampak orang Malaysia yang buat. Dia letak clorox dalam 2 air. Satu air sirap, satu air teh susu. What happened adalah air sirap dia jadi putih bro. Jadi bleach. Hilang warna. And dia minum air tu, dia kata bahawa ianya boleh bunuh virus. Betul lah. Clorox memang boleh bunuh lah, tapi dia bunuh kita juga. Jadi for me, janganlah benda-benda macam ni, kepercayaan macam ni boleh berlaku dalam kita punya masyarakat. I don't understand why those people have this kind of thought. I always berfikir how dia punya thought process tu berlaku. Macam mana dia boleh percaya dengan benda-benda macam ni. Sampai sekarang I cannot rationalize why they actually can, kita kata apa, percaya dengan benda-benda ni. Clorox untuk bleach kan? For bleach lah. Kenapa untuk treatment COVID-19 pula? So, as simple as that. Itu saja. So, pasal mak teh kata air nyok boleh membantu untuk treat COVID, pakailah herba-herba. So, again, for me, as far as kalau benda tu tidak memudaratkan, minumlah. Minum air nyok, minumlah, tak ada masalah. It is good electrolyte anyway. But, can it actually bunuh COVID? I don't think so. Kalau nak, silakanlah buat kajian saintifik, buat betul-betul and tengok manalah kandungan-kandungan bahan aktif yang ada boleh membunuh COVID ni. But if you ada minum untuk mengembalikan kesegaran badan for your hydration, minumlah, tak ada masalah. Air pun suka minum air kelapa juga, tak ada masalah. Herba-herba, lagi sekali kalau herba-herba itu adalah herba-herba yang memang kita ambil pick daripada ni, memang dalam bentuk original tu, and you nak buat selagi mana pakai tidak mudaratkan, silalah. I tidak ada masalah kat situ. Tapi kena faham bahawa kalau herba-herba ni juga tidak semestinya tidak mempunyai side effect. Kena faham, tidak semestinya tidak mempunyai side effect. Lagilah pula kalau kita tengok produk-produk yang letak macam-macam, kononnya herba letak dalam tu, kita tak tahu apa benda letak dalam tu pun. Lagilah pula kalau dia letak steroid pula dalam tu, oh lagi tu. Jadi ini adalah perkara-perkara yang kita sangat tekankan. Jadi kalau nak ambil air nyok, ambil. Kalau nak ambil herba yang tidak menjejaskan, you ambil lah, itu dia punya ikhtiar. Saya pun tak nak. Kita kata kadang-kadang we need to embrace the cultural belief. But as long as it doesn't harm you, nak ambil, for me tidak ada masalah. Tapi just beringatlah bahawa walaupun namanya herba, masih juga ada side effect kalau kita ambil dalam keadaan yang tak betul. And I cannot tell you which herba yang ada side effect ataupun tak. So kalau tanya saya buat semualah, itu je. As simple as that. Jadi vaccine contain microchip, I cannot understand why orang boleh berfikir macam ni. Kononnya kita ada 5G. Bro, Malaysia 5G pun tak ada. 5G pun tak ada. Second one, who are you? Ataupun siapalah kita ni sampai orang nak kawal kehidupan kita? I cannot brain this kind of thinking mengatakan bahawa vaksin contain microchip. Buat microchip, satu microchip tu mahal, lagi satu namanya pun micro, dia akan can be visible dalam kita punya vial vaksin tu. Ambil, lepas tu kita nak ambil tu berapa banyak, macam mana kita nak ambil microchip, berapa banyak yang kita boleh sedut. Jadi bila takkanlah dia nak buat berpuluh-puluh ribu, mahal kot microchip tu. So this kind of thing kan is something yang can we actually can bila fikir rasional je. So benda-benda contain microchip ni, come on lah. I do think that people we are here all educated enough to understand that there is no such thing as microchip. But unfortunately in the apa ni, dalam kita punya masyarakat ada juga yang percaya. And vaccine attract magnet, okay. Kadang-kadang juga tak magnet, dia letak apa, dia magnetic boy, magnetic man. Dia boleh letak barang-barang magnetism, tengok semua melekat. Okay. A lot of articles that have been read, cuba untuk bincangkan benda macam ni. Satu, okay, jadilah. Saya bagi ayat senang ni nak faham. Kita ada vial. Please bawa lah magnet masa kita nak pergi cucuk tu. Yang vial tu, pergi letak vial tu dekat magnet kita tu dekat vial tu. Melekat tak? Kalau melekat maksudnya adalah magnet. Adalah bahan-bahan di dalam vaksin itu menyebabkan dia boleh melekat magnet. As simple as that. Dalam tu tidak ada apa-apa. Memang dalam vaksin COVID-19 bahan-bahan ingredient ni tak ada dalam macam iron ke, nickel ke, lithium ke, semua tak ada. Jadi itu satu. Jadi kenapa berlaku benda macam ni? Sometimes benda tu bukan sebab satu perkara yang kita boleh fikir adalah because of the theory of friction. Bila kita, badan kita ni, bila dia dalam keadaan lembut ataupun tidak berbulu, jadi dia boleh jadi kesat. Bila kita letak, dia jadi memang boleh, bukannya dia melekat, tapi dia stay kat situ because of the friction. Badan berdaki, badan berpeluh, semua pun boleh jadi. So senang je. For me, if you think that orang tu memang ada magnet ke apa, ataupun dia boleh attract semua benda-benda yang besi, cuba letak bedak dekat tempat yang dia letak tadi, letak bedak banyak-banyak, letak balik barang tu. Kalau jatuh, bukan magnet. Senang. Because kita letak bedak, dia akan mengurangkan friction. Mengurangkan geseran. Cuba letak. Tengok, kalau dia magnet, letaklah bedak banyak mana pun, dia tetap akan melekat. Kalau letak bedak kat situ, tengok macam mana. As simple as that. Tak payahlah, kalau orang cakap macam ni pun, for me, kadang-kadang bila dia buat video, kita tak tahu benda tu, dia buat apa benda yang dia letak, apa benda yang trik yang dia buat. Kadang-kadang orang nak viral ni, macam-macam benda yang dia boleh buat. Okay, lagi satu adalah yang terakhir, vaccine can change human DNA. Benda yang dia macam ni, the issue with the mRNA, yang orang duk cakap ni, mereka merasa ramai yang berpendapat yang salah faham bahawa mRNA yang dimasukkan ke dalam badan ni akhirnya akan mengubah kita punya DNA. Yang kita kena faham adalah, macam saya cerita tadi, macam mana punya proses. Bila kita ada genetic material of COVID-19 tu dimasukkan dalam badan, dia masuk ke dalam kita punya sel, dia tak pergi kat kita punya DNA pun. Dia akan pergi kat ribosom yang ada dalam sel. Kalau siapa-siapa yang belajar biologi dulu, dia ada ribosom. Dalam kerja ribosom adalah untuk membuat translation, untuk menghasilkan protein, which is dalam isu COVID-19 menghasilkan spike protein. Jadi dia tak boleh, macam mana mRNA itu nak ganggu DNA kita, dia tak boleh ganggu pun. Dia akan pergi kat situ, berlakunya proses transcription yang mana nanti dia akan copy the genetic mRNA of the COVID-19, and then the copy one tu akan masuk ke dalam ribosom dan akan menghasilkan proses translation. Jadi lepas tu dia akan hasilkan spike protein, dia akan pergi kepada membran, dan benda tu akan detect oleh kita punya sistem imuniti badan. That's all. Ada yang jadi isu lagi adalah dia kata kalau benda ni berlaku, nanti akan berlakunya proses penghasilan spike protein yang tidak terkawal dan akhirnya menyebabkan badan kita boleh jadi rosak. Contoh, kalau dia pergi kat salur darah, bila dia pergi dah infect dekat situ, dia dah jadi buat satu spike protein, jadi dia tak terkawal menghasilkan tu, akhirnya menyebabkan berlakunya peradangan dan menyebabkan kita punya salur darah menjadi sempit dan menyebabkan jadilah macam-macam isu, macam contoh serangan jantung ke atau mati. Itu yang keluar cerita 2 tahun tu, sebab dia kata kerana isu tu dalam masa 6 bulan hingga 2 tahun kita akan mati, dia kata. But sebenarnya bagusnya, hebatnya macam mana saintis-saintis ini buat adalah dalam dia menghasilkan mRNA tadi, mRNA itu dia letak cap. Dekat hujung-hujung dia tu dia letak cap. Jadi apabila dia dah start proses translation, jadi cap tu akan terbuang. Cap tu akan dilepaskan. Jadi akhirnya proses exonuklease, endonuklease akan dan menghancurkan the mRNA itu. Jadi that is how good our technology is. Jadi itu sebenarnya dia takkan menyebabkan berlakunya proses unlimited translation of the mRNA itu tadi menghasilkan spike protein. Dia takkan jadi. Saya harap semua benda itu akan lebih jelas lah. Sebenarnya vaccine can change human DNA also. It's not true. Conclusion is COVID-19 is still increasing trend in Malaysia, proactive and more aggressive approach for disaster management strategy, and vaccine is now still our exit strategy. Kita boleh cerita banyak lagi pasal vaksin ni, tapi tak apalah. For the sake of this discussion now, I can still say that vaccine is still our exit strategy. Kita boleh nampak dia punya kesan-kesan di lapangan macam mana vaksin telah membantu dalam menurunkan kes kemasukan ke hospital, kes ke ICU, kes ke intubation and kes kematian. And also vaccination strategy in Malaysia might need to be revised lah. Jadi kita tengok sekarang ni adakah dekat Johor kita tengok kes dah 1,300. Kenapa kita masih lagi ikut the 1, 2, 3 ataupun ni? So what is the thing yang kita boleh buat? Adakah program lonjakan vaksin yang kita buat kat Greater Klang Valley itu perlu dibuat dekat Selangor juga? Dan adakah kita perlu lagi menambahkan tempat-tempat PV atau bagaimana? Sebab sekarang ni kita tahu Johor kes terlampau banyak, kepadatan pun memang padat, dan tapi masih dia punya coverage masih lagi 20%. Which is kita perlu tengok per state atau apa-apa. So this is kind of strategy yang kita perlu buat melihat kepada situasi semasa. So this is what I mean by vaccination strategy might need to be revised. So I think that's all. Saya rasa dah ambil banyak sangat masa. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you Doctor for sharing everything that you have tadi, and very interesting to see and learn tonight. Thank you so much. Now we'll be moving on to Q&A, Doctor. So we will be reading the questions dari the Q&A punya portion. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay. The first question is from Razik. The question is, vaccines in general have been all over and widely used in the medical field. So why does the COVID-19 vaccine become a global issue and raise debate among people all over the world?
I'm not really get the question.
So his question is, kalau vaksin dah memang always used around the world, kenapa COVID-19 punya vaksin buat banyak isu and buat banyak debate?
Okay.
Walaupun it is a vaccine.
Okay, now I understand. Sebenarnya vaksin kita dah guna daripada dulu lagi dah. I need to say that as a public health punya practitioner, I always gonna support for the vaccine because this is our bullet yang kami nak guna for prevention punya strategy. And kita dah guna untuk childhood vaccination pun. Untuk yang adult pun kita dah ada guna. Contoh macam kita nak guna kita nak pakai for flu virus contohnya, ataupun pneumococcal virus, itu kita pakai untuk adult. Kan itu adalah vaksin-vaksin yang kita dah gunakan. The issue is why it happens, there is so many isu yang keluar adalah, pertamanya adalah sekarang ni people dah start aware dengan vaksin. Dulu childhood vaccination pun sebenarnya kalau umur saya ni, kalau you go to Facebook pun dia akan cerita benda yang sama. They start questioning the vaccines because bagi kepada anak-anak sebenarnya, and ada side effect inilah, takut AEFI lah, apa bla bla. Sebenarnya benda yang sama juga berlaku dalam COVID-19 vaccination. Jadi memang apabila orang dah start aware, jadi people start untuk bertanya dan juga memberikan pendapat-pendapat berkenaan dengan vaksin. We can understand that. So what we do adalah kami perlu memberikan maklumat yang betul dan give assurance kepada semua orang bahawa vaksin yang digunakan itu adalah selamat. Sebab dan juga apabila kita bagi contoh child vaccination pun, kita tak pernah ambil tahu pun daripada company mana ke, brand apa ke, asalkan benda tu vaksin untuk MMR. Jadi kita pakai je apa-apa. But now because of we are always talking about vaccine, sampai duk cerita jenis-jenis vaksin kepada semua orang. So everybody become more aware dan menyebabkan jadi over anxious tentang vaksin tu sendiri. We can understand that because of the influx of the information that they get from all sources, especially in the major social media. So menyebabkan berlaku macam-macam isu. Kadang-kadang apabila mereka mendengar satu-satu insiden, they are actually relate that to the vaccine. Contoh orang tu baru 2 hari lepas terima vaksin, tiba-tiba sakit jantung. So they say, sebab vaksin lah tu. Jadi apabila kita tak boleh kata macam tu, we need actually to look at buat postmortem dulu, tengok betul-betul ke tak, ke sebenarnya dia ada underlying disease ke tak. Jadi adakah sebenarnya ada uncontrolled diabetes ke, ataupun ada benda lain ke, ataupun dia memang ada hyperkolesterolemia ke, menyebabkan benda tu menyebabkan ada plak dan menyebabkan dia kena cardiac arrest, ataupun benda-benda lain. Jadi disebabkan itu kita kena tengok. But because of this kind of incident have been manipulated by those people yang berkepentingan, menyebabkan orang lain jadi takut dan start untuk bercerita dan akhirnya keluarlah all this false information lah.
Okay, thank you for the answer. And yeah, second question dari anonymous. Assalamualaikum doktor. I am planning to get a hepatitis B vaccine. Can I get it right after I receive a COVID-19 vaccine jab, or do I need to wait a certain period first?
So far tak ada lagi dia cakap, tapi maybe you can get 1 week or 2 weeks after lah. Yeah, for me that is yang kita kata selamat lah. Janganlah right away untuk ambil hepatitis vaccine. But if hepatitis vaccine is not really urgent for you to take it now, because I know certain job memang dia kena ambil hepatitis vaccine. Macam contoh when I'm starting my work as a doctor, memang dekat hospital I need to take the hepatitis vaccine. Tak apalah. Tapi yang tu pun sebenarnya boleh lagi nak tunggu. But if you have a dog kan, jadi hepatitis vaccine tu maybe you can postpone it first lah, then ambil COVID-19 vaccine. That one is more urgent from the hepatitis vaccine.
Okay. The next question is, Doctor, it turns out I'm allergic to the vaccine, AstraZeneca vaccine.
Sorry, tak dengar.
This person, dia allergic dekat AstraZeneca punya vaksin. So lepas dia dapat first dose, dia terus masuk ICU. So does that mean lepas ni dia kena tunggu 100% herd immunity dulu baru boleh keluar, ataupun dia kena dapat issue letter dari doktor?
Okay, if you have kita kata allergic, itu dah severe allergy lah tu sampai masuk ICU. So memang you tak boleh ambil AstraZeneca. Please discuss with the doktor, dekat doktor dengan yang tengah merawat you, what is the best vaccine that you can take. Selalunya Pfizer boleh ambil. But anyway, if you dah start traumatized untuk ambil, I can understand the feelings. But anyway, untuk you keluar tidak ada masalah yang lain. Macam saya cakap, follow our current SOP and just berhati-hatilah apabila berada ni untuk yang macam biasa, sebab ada vaksin dah tak dia kita kata bahawa maybe you have some of the immunity tapi tak terlampau banyak lah. So the risk is for you to be contracted with the virus ada je. Tapi kalau kata bahawa you punya allergic tadi menyebabkan you lebih tinggi probability untuk kena COVID-19, tak lah. Jadi sama macam yang biasa-biasa orang lain juga. So for me, I advise you, if you wanted to go outside, so you just follow our current SOP. That is actually is good enough. If you don't have any urgent matters to go outside, for me, it's better for you stay at home. Macam saya pun stay at home je.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. I rasa one more question kot sempat. Last question. Is there any prediction on when COVID-19 can finally vanish on its own?
Okay. What can I say that COVID-19 is here to stay? It is here to stay. I don't see dia boleh pergi mana-mana. So the problem with the virus adalah dia akan selalu berubah, dia akan selalu shift. That is the problem. So what we can do adalah so far apa kita kata, ada yang tanya is it vaccine is our only exit? Yes. I can say that so far itu adalah satu-satunya cara untuk kita keluar daripada this pandemic. And at one point kita bukannya pertama kali berada dalam pandemik ni. Kita ada Spanish fly, Spanish flu. Jadi Spanish flu juga itu adalah pandemik antara pandemik yang kita pernah ada, and kita ada banyak lagi pandemik yang lain. But sejarah membuktikan bahawa kita akan jadi more resilient. Akhirnya nanti kita akan menjadi satu bukan satu bangsa, tapi kita akan menjadi resilience, ataupun kita dah start ada immunity with this COVID-19. Memang ada satu kita tak naklah sampai kita kata survival of the fittest. Kita tak nak buat sampai macam tu. Maksudnya kata siapa yang hidup lepas COVID, dia hidup lah. Maksudnya dia akan terus ada immunity. Yang akan mati. Sebab tu kita berusaha sedaya upaya untuk membantu prevent the cases from being more severe. Sebab itulah kita buat the vaccine and all. Jadi but at one point sampai satu masa ianya akan menjadi satu, kita kata seperti virus flu yang lain. Macam coronavirus tadi, kita ada banyak coronavirus, dia akan jadi macam tu juga akhirnya. Maybe 5 to 10 years time dia akan jadi macam tu. So the virus is here to stay, but so far at this point of time, kita kena buat any preventive measures untuk kita hidup ataupun kita survive for this pandemic. For the future, we let it the natural, kita boleh kata natural help us untuk we start having the resilience towards this infection. Lama-lama kita akan jadi lebih baik. Tapi nak tunggu tu lambat. Sebab tu kita bantu dengan vaksin. Jadi kalau lepas ni doktor, kalau macam tu, kalau makin lepas ni delta, lambda apa, tak apalah, we give kita minta daripada kita harapkan daripada kita punya saintis untuk bantu untuk membuat vaksin-vaksin yang lebih baik, dan mungkin kita akan ada booster jab after this. Macam contoh juga macam vaksin flu yang kita yang lain, kita ada je vaksin, tapi kita tak ada orang kita kata kita boleh kata terpulang lah, siapa yang nak ambil, siapa yang tak nak ambil tak ada masalah. Jadi mungkin saya berpendapat benda itu akan jadi sedemikian, cuma ianya perlukan masa. But at this point of time, we need to do whatever we need to do for us to survive during this pandemic.
Alright.
Where is the people like antibiotics in this world? Okay.
Alright, thank you, Doctor, for sharing everything that you have today. Now, as a representative for our group project members, all of us would like to express our appreciation to you, Dr. Khairul, for taking time to be here with us today and to share everything that you have. And I also like to thank all of our
viewers. Thank you so much. I'm very sorry for the technical problem from my part.
No worries, Doctor. It's okay. I would also like to thank all of our viewers on Microsoft Teams and those who are still watching on YouTube. So I hope everyone is still awake and still around, as we do have something very special in store for everyone. I would like to pass the floor to our two other wonderful hosts, Aisha and Sophie, for our lucky draw. Sophie?
Okay,
Aisha?
so saya minta diri dulu lah. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doctor.
All right, thank you, Dr. Khairul, for the insightful sharing. As Hanim said, we've prepared an exciting activity for you. We have come to the last part of this event, which is the lucky draw for the registered participant. We will choose 5 lucky winners from all registered participants. The grand prize will be a Realme Pocket Speaker. The second prize will be a RM50 GrabFood voucher. The third prize will be RM20 GrabFood voucher, and lastly, the consolation prize will be RM10 Ringgit Tea Life voucher. Without further ado, let us start with the first draw with picking the lucky winner for the consolation prize. All right, congratulations to alisan1012@gmail.com for winning the consolation prize, which is RM10 Ringgit Tea Life voucher. Now let's move on to the second draw. Congratulations to husnakhairudin1@gmail.com for winning the second consolation prize, which is also a RM10 ringgit T-Life voucher. Now let's move on to the third draw. Congratulations to Norhazika.Hanafiah08 for winning the third prize, which is a RM20 ringgit Grab food voucher. Now let's move on to the second last draw. Congratulations to ialiana28@gmail.com for winning the second prize, which is a RM50 ringgit Grab food voucher. Now let's move on to the last draw, which he or she will be winning the grand prize. Lastly, congratulations to Ishma.Hadanan for winning the first prize, which is a Realme Pocket Speaker. Now let's move on to the next part. All right, thank you to our participants and the lucky winners. That will be all for our lucky draw session. Our representative will contact you soon through your email regarding your prize redemption. Back to you, Sophie.
Right, thank you, Aisha. And congratulations to those who win their lucky draw. Before we end our webinar, I would like to invite our amazing project director, Nazrul Abuza, to express his gratitude to all our respective participants who are still staying with us right now, be it in the Microsoft Teams Live or from the YouTube Live. So now, please welcome Nazrul.
Alright, thank you, Sophie. Alright, so Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good evening to all the participants who are still awake and who are still with us in this Microsoft Live and as well as in the YouTube Live. So first thing first, I would like to again thanks to all the participants who have been registered with us, who have been spending their Friday night with us to join this very fruitful and very insightful webinar with this amazing two speakers. And also we are all gathered here to learn something, to educate and to equip ourselves, like I mentioned earlier just now in the webinar, which such a very important knowledge in this challenging times of pandemic. And I believe it was indeed a very great opportunity for us to be in this event. I really hope all of us learn something, even though it is a very indeed long webinar due to some technicalities. And also apologize from our side, from my the organizing committee side, for the technicalities issue problem, as we are facing like unexpected technical issues. So yeah, and I really hope we learn something from these two amazing speakers, so that we can educate our community, like I mentioned just now. I educate community about the myth of COVID-19 vaccine, and also we can together helping our nation to achieve the herd immunity faster. And also I really hope you guys can take an action after this webinar to go and spreading the awareness about the COVID-19 vaccine, to spread the truth about the COVID-19 vaccine, to share something from the KKM social Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia social media, to share it on your stories, your status, your tweets, retweets the important information about the COVID-19 vaccine. And yeah, last but not least, and not to forget my organizing committee, who have been working really hard to make this webinar a success with these two amazing speakers and a big numbers of participants registered. So we are really hoping that we could achieve our herd immunity soon, so that we can free from COVID-19 vaccine, inshallah. So thank you and have a good weekend.
Inshallah. Thank you so much, Nazrul, for inspiring words. So guys, that is the end of our webinar for tonight, and I hope everyone had a great time here and managed to distress a little with the session. Lastly, attention to all attendees here and also on YouTube. Please fill in this feedback form that you can get from the chat box, or you can scan the QR code to get the feedback form. The feedback form is to justify whether you are satisfied with our session, and surely we will improve based on your feedbacks. With that, I would like to say take care, stay safe, and good night. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.